I do like the bird noises.
That sounds good.
I like that. It's a keeper.
Who are you? Who am I? Where am I? Where are you? Put that down.
Put that down. Where'd you come from, baby?
Don't be looking at my shit.
Did you get inside this dream of mine?
What you all about?
Dream demon coming up on me. Touching up on me. Kinda like it though.
I'm a changed man.
Spicy.
You change me when you touch me. Touch me in this dream of mine. That's my tagline.
Dream touching.
You touch me.
Touching your
in this
dreams.
dream of mine.
It's good. It's a good hook.
And don't forget to touch me. Touch me gently. This is getting weird. In this
Dream stroke. So, got a dream stroke coming. So sure.
you've been dream touching.
Oh no, what happened to my shirt? It's gone.
Oops, think it was a shirt. Up over my head. Did I give you dream consent
No consent to
for
be
this
in my
dream
dream.
touch?
Slap your hand. Get out of
Get out of here.
here. Fucking
It's my purse. I don't know you.
pervy ass dream peeper.
That's my purse.
It's my dream. I don't know you.
I never said you could grab my butt. Squeeze my butt cheeks.
In my dream purse.
Put your hands inside my human dream purse.
Open up my dream purse. Reach in my dream purse. To your elbow.
What's going
Take out what you need from my
Welcome to the
dream
Dream Purse. Hello and welcome to the 220th episode of A Drink and a Joint. I'm Davey. That's Toby. That's Houston right there. And below us is Dr. Jordan Breeding.
What's up?
I'm
Hey,
sorry,
what's
I'm
up?
pointing at you with a large knife.
I told you not to have that yet.
Davey's
You've
got a
already
knife.
threatened the guest.
No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do one of those little cheesy little introductions. So Jordan is he's the guy who revived Cracked and a lot of other things from what we heard, and we're very proud of him. He's very talented. He's very funny. He wrote for them for years, and he made the Your Brain on Cracked videos. He did so many movie breakdowns. He just started his brand new channel called Dr. Jordan Breeding, and the link to that is below in the description, as well as his Twitter. And we're here to talk about some stuff, and we're happy to have you, man. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So, do you have it pulled up to where you can see the chat?
I do. I see, hey boys.
Okay.
Good to see ya. Nice to meet ya. That's the same person.
Okay. I see you put in a little
Vance.
dream touching. I see you there. Okay.
Yeah.
There, I'm around.
All right, we're in here. Okay, so one thing that is it safe to assume that you are obsessed with movies? Do you spend a lot of your time watching movies and thinking about them?
Yeah, I mean, it's become my job. So, yes.
Okay.
You said you went to music, or you went to school for some kind of music, right?
You said you took a music business class.
Yeah, so I was an English major, but I double minored in music and film studies.
Ah, okay. Film
I'm
studies.
perpetually trying to turn all of my interests into cold hard cash. So,
Oh yeah.
Brilliant.
we're doing the best that we can.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask, what was the thing? What was the fucked up thing that happened in your life that made you so obsessed with fantasy?
with fantasy.
Well, it's movies because it's like I think
It's
because like
escapism.
I
Davies
love
got
escapism
it, too. I hope you have
I'm
yours
also
chambered.
a cinephile. I'm also a cinephile.
What movie
so
touched you?
I just want to know like what weren't you getting as a child where you had to escape?
Okay.
So so for a second I thought you meant the genre fantasy, and I was about to start yelling. But
I'm here
the
for
way
it.
okay, so here's my evolution as best I can tell, and it's not as sexy and dangerous as I think you're hoping. But when
We want Fast and the Furious. But
Fast and the Furious is what changed my life. When I was 3, my dad's always had Macs because my dad is a graphic designer, has been his whole life, started his own company. So we always had Macintosh computers, which didn't have a lot of games, but they did have games pretty early on. And we would play this game called Maelstrom, where I couldn't even fly the ship. I could just shoot. So he would fly and I would shoot. And from there, I just got super into video games for a long time, specifically playing with friends. I have a video on my own channel talking about all the different ways I went door to door selling Pokemon cards and my sister's dolls to go buy a Nintendo 64 because my parents wouldn't buy one for me and all this stuff. So I got really into games. So that was kind of my intro into like escapism story stuff, but it was like hanging out with my dad. It wasn't like
it's a bonding.
it wasn't like my
experience.
dad drove off a cliff and I was like, well, I guess I have to go play Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's from the love of your dad. That's just as interesting.
Okay, yeah. So, well, where did like the love of movies come from? Where did that start to come in?
Yeah, similarly, we never had cable growing up. We just didn't have TV. So what we did was we just watched movies all the time as a family. It was just, again, yeah,
That's
not
so
the,
wholesome.
not the saddest thing in the world.
No, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to have a fucking Spider-Man origin for
I
why you
feel-
like movies.
I want to hear your sexy, edgy origin story. I feel like you're edging towards this story.
No, God, no. To me, it was okay. So like, it was just my dad. So that was it. Because it's like I just remember my dad exposing me to like because my parents weren't doing well. So my dad didn't sleep in the same room as my mom. He slept in the living room, and they always told me it was because he snored. It was not because he snored.
So we kicked it all the time. We were kicking it all the time.
So when I would pretend to be sick, which I did a lot as a kid, I would get to sleep in the living room with dad, and dad just watched movies all night because he was a cinephile. Like he loved movies. He loved everything about them. He loved like how they were made. I got brought up learning how to read on comic books and on like movie production like books. They were like these huge books that broke down the production of like old movies from like the 20s and 30s. And so like that's just what got me into it, and that's what got me into
awesome.
like I just didn't know if you had somebody in your life that was like, so the whole family was just into movies because that was kind of the thing.
Yeah, so I just as a kid, I was super into video games, movies, books, and I just sort of gravitated towards friends who felt similarly. And it just, I mean, so probably the most broken moment of my life was in 8th grade. I was homeschooled for 7th and 8th grade.
Oh.
And I had friends that homeschooled with me in 7th grade, so it was great. You know, you finish your work at like noon or whatever, and then you go play paintball. But in 8th grade, they all went to real school. And so I read, I think legitimately like 75 Star Wars books that year.
Did you become a weird kid for a second?
For a year.
Oh, no.
An informed kid. Yeah.
Okay, now you're bringing stuff up because now I'm remembering things. Okay, so yeah, actually. So I think that must have been my descent into weird kid. And then when I got to high school, every day I wore sweatpants, like the slicky, swishy kind of sweatpants.
Like a track pant?
Like track pants from like a fucking
Yeah.
a windbreaker
That's sweet.
suit.
Yeah, but like closer, not the full suit,
Okay.
just the bottom
The bottoms.
half. But yeah, very similar to like a Russian mobster.
Oh, I
or
love it.
something.
Yeah,
Adidas.
a good tank top.
No,
And
you were
so, as you can imagine, I didn't make a ton of friends until my junior year. My mom or somebody was like, "You really should wear jeans. You should try jeans."
It's crazy that someone had to have a talk with you
School
about.
is so early. School's early.
No, that's what I did. I went to bed in them, and then I was like, I saved
Fuck
5
it.
minutes out the door. So
Boom.
I probably didn't smell great.
My parents
I was informed,
homeschooled
though.
me for 2 years as well, and they had to put me back in school because the same thing. I was being weird. I was like, because we had meetings. So I had cousins and other people, and like you said, we didn't do paintball, but they would have us do outings together,
Yeah, right.
so we were social. but it was with a bunch of other weird ass kids,
Right.
and so they just had to put me back in school and just get beat up.
getting
a little
weird.
bit. and-
Okay, so your mom sat you down and said, "Honey, I think it's going to be best for you and your development if you start to wear some denim. If we get some,
in there.
yeah, we need to get you in there."
Yeah. So I finally wore denim. I also got a haircut, and I also started playing music in a band around town.
Okay.
All that combined, a lot of people thought I was new to school my junior year.
A rebirth.
Yeah. And so the only reason I
Who's this new
probably
guy
ended
in
up
denim?
Yeah, this sexy ass.
This is wow. Oh my god! It's like what is it? The new guy.
Yeah, you came back
up.
and you're like,
Dizzy.
My
Yeah,
name is Levi Strauss.
Yeah.
it's like it's
a
a
denim
pretty
glow
stereotypical like glow up scene where they like took the glasses, they just took
Yeah.
the sweatpants off.
I was
And they were like,
imagining bully McGuire.
and the only reason I stuck with all this stuff, other than I'd spent the previous 16 years, that being the only thing I cared about, is I never knew what I wanted to do, but I did really well in AP English. And so I was like, well, that's what I'm good at. So then I went to college for it and whatever. And we just kind of stuck with it forever. And music. I think once I like played music on a stage,
What kind?
I was just like, I never want to have a real job. So my whole life has been a shell game trying to figure out how to not
work too
have it.
hard.
Yeah.
how to not get a
Get there.
401.
See, isn't it crazy that like in the pursuit of that, you work so much more and so more intensely in every way possible,
Yes.
like than you ever would at a 9 to 5?
What kind of
You
music
got to put
did
10,000
your-
hours in, right?
Did your
In some
band
form.
play?
What did we play?
Yeah, what kind of music?
So this is a question. I don't know why you would know this. Have you ever heard of a band called Parachute by any chance?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
They had a top 40 song in like 2009, 2010 called She Is Love, and it was all whatever. Their lead singer was the older brother of our lead singer, and they're about as like quintessential Maroon 5 blue-eyed pop rock as you can get. So we played like that, but of course, me not knowing anything, I had a Millennium Ibanez Iceman because I saw that the guys in System of a Down had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember those guitars.
Didn't fit great with the aesthetic, but
It's what I had.
Yeah, you work with what you got.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so not the Grateful Dead style stuff.
Well, no, I mean, and like, well, that's like, I feel like the psychedelic, the 60s and 70s psychedelic stuff influenced a ton of those things.
Hey,
Because
Maroon 5 is awesome. I mean, they have written good music.
But like,
You can't
what kind
deny
of stuff?
that.
What kind of stuff do you write though? Like, what kind of stuff like do you play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a band. So after college, the thing that I thought we were going to do is be in a band. So my wife and I were in a band together with some guys. We could define it this way. It still was pretty much rock. It was much heavier, but not really heavy.
Yeah.
We played exactly one Warped Tour stop.
Okay.
Okay.
So we fit in enough in that post-hardcore scene.
Was it 90s grungy? Or
Was it more towards that than
rock.
emo, like emo rock?
closer to emo, but even
Okay.
still never quite that heavy or whiny or
Yeah.
Okay,
or
that's the part that
fast,
sucks
really.
about emo.
I'm curious about touring with your significant other.
It's great.
What it was great.
Oh yeah.
hell yeah.
I honestly, so we started the band when we were still dating, and I will say we say this all the time. Like, there are a lot of couples that have never had to like work together, and I think it really has set us up well because we've had to be partners in so many frustrating, high pressure situations where like the amp doesn't work or the whatever's going on.
The baby doesn't work.
That makes that just make everything more
Vamp.
stressful though.
Vamp.
We're great
Damn
at resuscitating children who are
Yeah.
unresponsive. No, and I thought it was. I mean, obviously it was frustrating. Like we would fight because we were coworkers and everybody's mad, and the way that bands are always yelling at each other. But I think our ability to like work through it and make up, kind
helped
of
in the long run.
Does she play, or is she a vocalist, or
primarily a vocalist, although she is also a piano player keys player as well. And I was going to say that's the other half of it. So we played one Warped show, and we have a couple of songs on, speaking of reality shows, which we were talking about earlier, Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
Okay, they slipped on there. That's what's up.
Well, that's awesome.
What's the band name? That was the band name.
Skyward, like Skyward Sword.
Skyward.
At the time, bringing it back to video games.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. You fucking nerd.
Yeah. It was fun. We sucked. I mean, we didn't go anywhere other than
Well, I
the
mean,
one show. And
do you ever want to do anything like that again? Or you wanting to put like a band together where you're at and start gigging?
So, well, I was actually talking to my wife about this not that long ago. I was like, realistically, if you give me, $10 million and you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life, is that too low? I don't know. Inflation is bad. Say I get $1 billion and I never have to work again.
Yeah.
I still think secretly I want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
I want to do music because the liveness of it, particularly, and just like hearing your album kind of mixed and mastered for the first time on headphones is like the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
So I would still do that, and I would still love to do that. But if you count high school, I spent a decade trying to make it in music. Never made it. I mean, any money that I made always went back into the band to like record the next album or buy shirts or whatever. Comedy writing, the first thing I wrote made me almost as much money, which is to say like $100. But I just mean like
something.
the comedy video stuff has been so much more the career path and like how you make money and how you do things has been so much clearer to me this whole time.
Yeah.
Whereas with music, I still right now I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get people to listen to it. It's like we made so much music and I would beg people to listen to it. And they'd be like, "Oh, that's cool."
But then that's it.
Do you put the music in your videos?
Now, I mean, our band, so it's still on Spotify, like you could find it, but it's all the music in my videos now is actually original, but it's like
You're doing
it
stings.
sounds like James Bond. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
did
cool,
like
though.
sad synth.
Oh, that's got to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun. There's this guy, Brandon O'Neill, who is still trying to do the music thing with his band called Wine and Warpaint, who you should check out, who is actually like Under Oath or this like that sort of genre of emo. He and I spent a day and we were like, okay, what is like every little mood you think you're going to want? We're like, butt rock. And we, and then we did thrash metal. And then we did Mysterious Reveal.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of like X-Files synth. It's freaking great.
Cool.
It's so much fun. So I love that I still get to do it a little bit, but I still can't. I'm still not making any money. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
How do you make money off of
I
music?
understand.
Yeah,
Like-
you could always like segue into like, I don't know, fucking, but no, there's something to like playing in front of people over
yeah.
like even
There's
like
a
doing like
live
scoring,
thing.
because that's effectively what you're doing is scoring,
You can
like
always,
Which is
which
less
is
fun.
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can
less
always
fun.
sell beats online. Have you tried anything like that?
Well, that's what Toby does.
Shit. I produce and
I'm
put
not
out
a great
music too, and I
mixer.
can attest
I-
as well. That's why you
We'll
gotta
mix
do
for you, bro.
everything.
I do feel like that's a common denominator I've seen of like musicians. It's like, so it's a like ideally, I mean they're going to do it anyway, but I feel like for musicians to have to like compulsively create to feel okay.
Yeah.
And if if you can monetize it, that's the best case scenario, but it's got to happen. I feel like for a lot of musicians that I've met, it's for them
So-
to feel okay.
Oh yeah,
I mean, okay, so actually, I do know how you make money, and I do know how theoretically I would make money. It's making, to your point, just post rock or buzzy synth swell stuff. It's you want your crap in commercials,
Yes.
indie movies, stuff like that. Like I've got a buddy in town who does his own music, but he he made way more money than he'll ever make in anything else, getting into like Chevy commercials or like Ford Europe, because he wrote like guitar
jingles.
riff,
It's
and then he
jingles.
just sold that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't feel, to your point, like me sitting in my underwear doing doesn't feel as like.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
I
That's
don't
not
know.
the thing. It doesn't give you the high. You're not going to get music high.
You're trying to give yourself a
sitting
platform.
on your couch.
Though. I mean, you're trying to give.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, man. But if I could do music, I would love to. And again, we were talking offline. I'm sorry that we already had a whole podcast not recording.
No, that's good. You got to hang out before you hang out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Talk about selling out. There's a degree to which, like, if all the video stuff works out, I'm going to pull a Johnny Depp, and not the beating people thing, but he just like
playing with Jeff Beck.
Yeah, he forces everybody to watch him play shit guitar.
And his
or,
guitar's
like,
so low. He wears it so low.
He's like a mascot.
well, it's because he's got 7,000 scarves or whatever. He can't. It can only go but so. Anyway,
But it's like, how are you? His arm is straight. His arm is straight down.
Well,
He's just
he
moving
comes
his
from a
hand.
generation that really covets the slung low
90s.
guitar, like
crabcore.
like Slash. Dude, when you mentioned playing music out of college, for no reason, I know you said what genre it was. I instantly thought you were talking about like shoegaze.
Oh,
Or like kind of. I immediately thought of like washy, like synthwave stuff.
so we had some of that. I'm a big sucker for hitting a guitar note that lasts for the rest of my life.
Ideally, it's ideal.
So, how do you not like jam bands though? How do you not like Fish if you like sustained notes?
It's
I think jam bands have a lot of notes. So many notes for so long. I don't have anything against jam bands, but
Yeah.
I'm also, speaking about writing and stuff, I'm a sucker for like tight, like very
Composed.
intentionally
I
constructed,
see.
written. Like, I'm not a big riffer, although obviously we're on this podcast live. I'm like, I like dynamics. I like
I'm a
hard
structured
cuts
song
and
guy.
coming back, and
Yeah.
now it's just the bass, and now it's this. So, not that
No, I
jam
feel
bands
you.
can't do that or don't do that, but it's
They-
a lot more of like,
It's a different thing for me because I produce in
Feeling
the
it.
studio a lot, and what happens like when you jam. I don't like listening to jam music.
I mean, how many
but I
30-minute
like
songs have
playing
you
it.
produced?
You know, no, none, right?
Yeah.
But that is a different part of your mind that it pleases. Like when you have something very structured and perfect as to where like you are kind of figuring it out on the fly and made something that you didn't even know you knew how to make. That there is a different like sort of satisfaction that comes from that. But I agree. I don't sit and listen to fucking Fish. I don't
Dude,
like
yeah.
that shit.
I'll be honest. Like, so after I feel like we got older than 25, every time I met a person that didn't listen to jam bands, I felt like I was trying to get them to convert to Islam.
Yeah.
Or they were like, dude,
me out.
I respect it. I know nothing about it. There's a lot
such
going
a-
on there.
Or it's like you're talking to a homeless person that's coming up for change, and they're
I'm
just like,
obviously
yeah.
not a bad person.
Yeah,
I'm just
you're-
trying to talk to you about
They're like,
Jerry Garcia.
dude, I don't have anything. I don't have anything for you.
I feel like it's just such a good, it's like vibey music. Like you just want to sit with it for a really long time, and I just don't. There are a lot of things that I'm happy to sit with for a long time. Movies, whatever, video games. Music just has never been quite like I'll listen to it on a car ride or whatever, but I don't know. I just
You gotta have the visual
yeah.
part of it.
I instantly wanted to join the ranks of like Bill Walton and Bill Murray.
Oh.
I was like, those are super famous deadheads. Like, what is that about?
Well, but that's also like it's different from listening to it and playing it. Like
You're right.
So like there's a big
Those are different
difference.
tracks.
So it's like the biggest freedom that comes in playing jam music is the improv.
sure.
So it's like it's kind of like but also like I'm terrible at like remembering what I play. So it's
You're a
like
jazz
It's
musician.
a different muscle
So it kinda
completely.
works.
I'm just trying to get to a place where I'm just like letting it loose. Don't ask me to play it again.
Yeah, so it's like I do have this ability. So if you tell me the key that we're in, I can play and I can fit in with whatever genre we're playing, and that's been because jam music goes through every genre. Because like even though we're like in dead groups and stuff, it's like there'll be times where we have like semi-metal breakdowns Because
Yeah.
like people don't usually do that, and it's like let's
Yeah,
fucking
sure.
throw that in to make people feel weird. Toby plays a fucking Moog synth and gets weird. We disband time and like get
Yeah.
real weird and then bring it back, and like that stuff's fun to kind of like test your metal while you're
Sure.
out there, because it's like
Dissolving the structure completely.
yeah, because that's what I want. I want you to feel that,
Because
man.
honestly,
Freedom, yeah.
Yeah.
if we could
I can
just
respect
jam, you would, but you can't. You have to have vehicles,
So-
vehicles. You
Oh,
know?
yeah, you're going
but that
into
could be
di-
any genre. You know, you can improv over any type of genre,
Exactly.
right?
It's like different states.
What you named the band you were in was more Maroon 5, but what's
No, that's not what he said.
it was
The band I was in high school was more Maroon 5.
yeah.
The band that I ended up in started as more kind of late aughts, kind of heavier rock stuff. I actually ended
Oh yeah.
our full length album came out in 2016. The band I was most influenced by at the time is called Don Broco. Have you ever heard of this band? Mm-mm. They are a British rock band that actually leans more into funky, riffy stuff.
Okay.
Love it.
like
It's
some
like
funk rock.
it's like one guitarist, and it's just a bunch of big ass riffs.
Nice. Like arena rock riffs and shit.
It kind of comes closer to that sometimes, but I feel like it's sort of straddling this line. It sort of takes that vibe from Rage, like Rage Against the Machine,
Yeah.
where it'll be like,
The best riffs.
Yeah. Just
it's
riff
like
heavy.
here's a riff, and that's like pretty much what we're doing.
This is this now.
So what were the vocals like?
In our band.
Yes.
So we had a female vocalist and a male vocalist, the female vocalist being my wife. And I don't know, he has a sort of deeper, more evocative voice. I could think of bands, but I can't think of like bands that people know off the top of my head. I think like the most popular, clearest version, at times we sounded like Imagine Dragons, maybe.
okay.
We never actually sounded like Imagine Dragons, but that was kind of like his voice is ish that.
I call that like anthem rock almost, or like
Yeah, I think we tried to get big. We
Yeah.
thought it would be cool. We like the big ass
That's
wall
cool.
of sound. Like there's some of that U2
Yeah.
like, oh, we're huge right now. It's a big,
Yeah.
big chorus. But then we also occasionally were like, we like to do heavy stuff. So we break down, or we used to have a moment in a show where it'd be this guitar solo, and then I'd start just finger tapping with one hand so I could high five the lead singer.
That's
You
awesome.
do kind of like stuntier
Okay.
stuff like that.
Licking
Love that. That's the
basses.
best word. That's a great word.
stunt
Like-
rock has to
like
be a
gimmick.
genre.
It
right?
wasn't. I don't even know. We were just like.
Did you
Just
ever?
like a
Did you? Were
rock
you?
band.
Did
You
you?
got some
Were you
tricks?
one of the guys that stuck your tongue out?
You got a
Were
bag
one
of
of those
tricks?
guys?
He's got a
I
bag
couldn't.
of tricks.
I couldn't help it.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
It just comes out.
That's
no,
how he's. That's
no,
how you know
I'm
he's
talking about those
concentrating.
guys that like sticks
Oh,
it
Gene
out.
Simmons, you got a
no,
big
no,
tongue.
no.
You got to show everyone.
You got your knee up on. You got your leg up on.
That's
No,
I didn't solo. I didn't solo that hard. The thing is that I actually by the end of it. So like my pedal board right now has a bunch of Strymon pedals on it. I don't know if you
That's
know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm yeah.
Just
And
because
so
we're in
they're-
a jam band doesn't mean that we don't know other bands, or
I don't know.
because we have
Those
to
are
work
good
with
pedals.
a lot
Those are good
of
pedals.
equipment. Like
Yeah.
we're hip.
Yeah, we've seen some pedals.
So
Yeah.
Strymons are great pedals.
Was
They
it
are,
delay
but
or reverb?
the thing that's I have the Big Sky and the
Yeah, it's
what's
fire.
the freaking delay one? The Timeline, and I also have one of their distortions, and I also have their like amp modeling pedal now.
Goddamn.
But that's,
Man,
that's everything.
it's a quality company.
But I have it all going to a MIDI switcher pedal, and so the way that we actually would so this is talking about the difference between a jam band and a band like ours. It was pre-programmed, so all I had to do is for each section of the song, every song in order, I would just tap next, and all my effects would change.
That's sick.
Oh, that's wicked.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Don't.
No, see, I need that. So like it's because like specific songs have specific sounds.
That's
Yeah.
just preparation, man. That's
Well, yeah, but so like what we ended up doing, it would be like, so we used to have two guitarists early on, and then we lost it, and I was like, I still like having weird sounds and weird stuff, so we kind of switched a bunch of things around, and so it would be stuff like I also had a fuzz pedal, and so I would try and like, I have a fuzz and I have an octave, and I would like turn that on and turn on this weird reverb and try and make it sound like a synth for
Yeah.
a minute,
Oh, man,
like that
I-
really kind of square, like,
Yeah.
Riffs.
I don't know. We're making us sound
I
a lot
love a fuzz
cooler
and
and
I
more
love an
thoughtful
octave.
than we are.
No, it's really cool, man. No, that's
I'm
awesome.
enjoying it. I'm
so
here
like,
for it.
I also know I watched your the fucking what is it, the God's Not Dead, or the, is that the one
Yeah.
where you had to
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
So did you
Right.
just find that out when you were watching it at one point that they were using your thing, or did you know what movie they were using it in? Do you want to tell
They-
that story?
Yeah. So okay. So the story is so again, right after college, I thought I was going to be doing music. I was still living in the same house. It was like a month, like I graduated like a month ago. I was looking at Craigslist, just like guitarist ? And
So you were looking for glory holes.
pretty much. And I saw like, can you sound like explosions in the sky? And I was like,
That's
Okay.
definitely gay sex.
I love Godspeed and
Explosion in the title. I mean,
I was
Go
like,
on.
yeah, I'll do whatever you want, man.
Oh shit.
No, but I've always had many a reverb pedal, so I was like, yes, I can
Gotcha.
I can play a note and then arpeggiate.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
so I sent it to whatever, the Craigslist ad, and then he responded like an hour later. He's like, oh, this is great. And so we went back and forth for like a year, and I had no idea what the hell I was working on until like quite literally I never saw a scene. He would send me explosions in the sky tracks and say, do this, but legally distinct.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So like maybe if you could change the key and like maybe the melody is different. Keep
I
it-
love it. I love it.
Yeah,
There's degrees of separation. I
Yeah.
feel like
it was
that's good for you.
that's hard to hear. That's hard to hear.
So I did that for forever, but there was this one cue. He was like, "It's just not doing it," and he's like, "She has cancer." And I was like, "Well, how would I know that?" And he's like, "Well, I'll just send you the scene." I didn't want to tell you what the movie was. It's this Christian movie. It's coming out, and I was like, "What am I going to do with that information?" Like,
I mean, make
you're
it
like,
worse,
call up my
or-
mom. There's a Christian movie where they have cancer.
Type in my tie.
Tell
No,
me
you
something
just-
I don't know.
You just got to take down the production value. It's Christian music now.
I guess. And so whatever, he did send me that one scene, and I made it more sad.
I love it. I love it.
Added in like like subsonic frequencies
Is
of
this a mu-
puppies drowning or some shit.
Is he a musician?
Sorry?
Was this a musician you were emailing?
Yeah, this was the composer. So they had a real, they had a composer,
Then the guy outsourcing.
and he was outsourcing the guitar because the guy, basically the editor, I think, basically went through the whole movie and was like putting in God's Not Dead temp tracks and was like, my movie's perfect. I have God's Not Dead throughout, but we cannot pay for God's Not Dead. So that's, I guess he had this idea. I mean, I made $300 on this. The movie made $64 million.
Oh,
Damn.
I wasn't even credited.
That was harder
What
to
the
hear.
fuck?
That was harder to hear than the first part.
Yeah. $300. It took so long. And actually, I realized what it was, talking about converting people to Islam. I wasn't getting the last scene right where all the kids decide to become Christian just in class together. And they stand up, God's...
Oh, Captain, my
not dead.
Captain.
Yeah,
God's
exactly.
Not dead.
Oh no.
And he was like, it's not glorious and, it's not epic enough, which
Yeah.
that made more sense. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, so we can add more, like, swelling.
Strings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add the horns
gonna
of
be more
fucking Archangel Gabriel
moving.
in the
I
background.
need it to be more moving.
Yeah.
Golden.
So anyway, that's my story with God's Not Dead. Other than, obviously, the movie made all the money. They made a second one. He wanted to rehire me again, but I was like, can I make $1,000? And he was like, no. And he was
What?
mad, and everybody was mad. So I made $600, and then I never scored another movie ever again.
What the
So what
fuck?
city was this in?
That money is for the Lord, Mr.
That's
Breeding.
true, I guess.
You just Christian fucking big dick me. What
I'm
is this?
yeah. You just what?
And keep in mind, I ended up, I said this too, I was a worship director at a church eventually. So, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, the enemy.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to spend it on crack and
Evil
Islam or something.
Yeah, cracking Islam.
Anyway, so,
it's so
this was
fun.
in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Okay, there it is.
And but the composer, I think, lived in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I want to say that, like, Craigslist, you
Yeah.
can get, like, within an hour or two or, you know, whatever. So Charlottesville, Virginia, which, I mean, they can't possibly be where they... I know they didn't film it here, so...
It's the mecca of Christian movies.
Yeah. Hey, they filmed Evan Almighty here.
Oh, snap. All right.
Well,
They-
that's kind of the best one.
Yeah, the best Christian movie ever made. They built a whole real
Monument?
life-sized ark.
I just wish they would have done the original sequel that they wanted to do.
What was
where
that?
Jim Carrey would have been the devil. Where
Really?
it's like they would have flipped it. They
Why
would've-
would he agree?
Devil for a
Maybe
week?
Just like a
He got possessed.
mishap.
I mean, I don't remember, but I just remember that was the pitch, and I was like, why
Who's
not?
gonna
Why
play
would
the
you
devil?
do? Why would you do the Noah's Ark thing? Like, why wouldn't you do why wouldn't you do the?
Because Jim
the
Carrey
duality?
probably would never.
Imagine the devil face on that
He
man.
is insane.
He
would
hated
do-
that he was in Kick-Ass too.
In Ace Ventura 2, he did the
Oh, that was
he
so
did the
much better.
horns. He was the white devil, quite literally. That's not just
It didn't age well.
He's into some transcendental shit these days. He is out of his mind, and I love it.
What, didn't he play Terrence McKenna? It's
think
like
he
when
was-
David Cross did Ginsberg.
He was gonna play Terrence McKenna, and then I think they were like, "We got to pull the plug on this. This is getting too weird."
He's a method actor.
Yeah.
We have set loose Jim Carrey as Terrence McKenna on the
When
world.
he's taking it home.
So Jim Carrey, again, going back to many things that we've already discussed, but people who are watching have not heard. In some ways, he sold out, or he at least hit the peak, and now is like, I don't care. I'm going to paint weird ass George Bush photos and be in the Sonic the Hedgehog movies.
Yeah.
That's it.
Extra
So may
paycheck.
we all have such a career.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
mean, where
started
you
in-
can just like straight up call out the Illuminati on a talk show,
Yeah.
and then be like, you know what, I'm not gonna do acting anymore. You know what, I'm coming back to acting. I'm gonna be Professor Egghead. What's up?
Yeah,
Get in the car with Jerry Seinfeld and blow his mind.
Yeah.
Make him feel uncomfortable.
What was the show he started on? Was it In Living Color?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
so.
that
That was
was
his
first.
springboard, right? For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So I actually don't really know his.
He did stand
I've
up.
seen a
before
million of his
that.
movies.
I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're not gonna do a fucking Jim Carrey retrospective anytime soon?
Oh man. So Pet Detective did not age well either.
Pet Detective? No, it did not.
The trans.
The
stuff?
transphobia.
Yeah,
in
the
it.
twist at the end.
Can you get it? Can you still watch this movie? I feel like it probably might have been scrubbed off. Like
I don't
you
know.
just only watch it on a
but-
VHS. I can't even. I
on
definitely.
a grainy VHS,
Yeah.
like a snuff film.
Snuff film. Yeah.
You know what I'm glad you can't find though is American Beauty. They did scrub that shit off of.
Oh, 'cause
Well-
they're just like you just don't
Off
need
of
to
just
see
about everything. Yeah, like you had to pay somebody something to see.
Oh yeah,
this,
because
and then
I mean, you just
Faces of
dropped
Death.
that.
It's
you
like
just
Faces
dropped
of
that
Death.
Spacey video.
yeah.
I know. I just made a video on Kevin Spacey with an American Beauty clip in it.
But see, where'd you
Yesterday.
get that? Because it's not. It's nowhere. I, don't
I have a
think.
copy of it.
You just keep it on deck. I mean,
you just got it off YouTube, right? The scene you wanted.
Yeah. Can you really not find it anywhere? I remember watching it in college.
Just playing.
I don't. I mean, I had never seen it, and
Get on Pluto TV.
This is your experience.
What do you-
This
oh,
is
no,
Toby's
my
personal experience.
I had never seen it and tried to look it up the other night.
Yeah, to
And-
watch it.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to see that bag in the wind, or like.
Oh, it was literally from some fucking reference. I saw it
almost
referenced in
referenced that
something and
twice
didn't get
tonight.
it. And I tried. I don't know. I just couldn't find it on like the main ones: Hulu, Netflix.
I definitely saw
HBO.
none.
Well,
You
that-
have to.
did you-
You have to pay for it. for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That doesn't exist to Toby.
I wasn't
It's
gonna
just
go
gone.
on the Amazon Prime and like spend $20 or whatever because you know that they're charging them extra to see that weird shit, right?
It's fair. It's fair. Jordan, so we have this show on our Patreon. It's called Flashback Flicks, where every month we watch 2 movies live with our Patreon audience, kind of like a Mystery Science Theater kind of thing.
But
Yeah.
But not as good. We're not funny.
Sucks.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, like it's pretty bad. I feel bad
telling
for you,
me.
dude. So we watched the 2 movies for this past month. They were Cape Fear and Nothing But Trouble. I don't know if you've seen either of those.
Neither.
Okay, so Cape Fear is
don't watch KP.
I haven't stopped thinking about it.
It's rough. Okay, so but it's really just about the real life things that happened. So there's this scene. It's an infamous scene of like, so Robert De Niro plays this psycho.
This is a Scorsese movie.
This is a Scorsese movie. Robert De Niro plays this psycho, and Juliette Lewis is there. She plays Nick Nolte's daughter. Okay, so Juliette Lewis at the time of filming is 17 with what we were able to find out. But there's this scene where they're down in this basement theater. For some reason, this school has a theater in the basement.
He had set up a meeting under false pretenses as a drama teacher.
Yeah, and so she meets him down there, and she's like, he like offers her weed, and then she's like, I don't think you're the drama teacher, and he's like, you're smart.
You're like, you're that guy.
Yeah, you're that crazy guy that my mom's all fucking horny for.
Well, you didn't tell him why. So he had been put in jail for like 15 years or something by the father.
Oh, that he learned to read
And
during.
so he's coming after the family, trying to terrorize them, and
yeah.
you know he crossed the line.
So this scene.
So
this
the reason-
scene-
So it's justified, is what you're trying to say.
Well,
totally.
the fucked up thing is,
No, he
so
definitely did that shit. He went to jail for.
Robert De Niro thinks he's justified, but his character, they're mad at Nick Nolte because he got sent to jail for longer than he would have if he had told. So he was supposed to have like beaten and sexually assaulted a young girl.
Great
but,
He's a rapist.
Yeah, but he admitted to doing it. And so, like,
They buried evidence.
He did that shit, but he was mad because he would have maybe gotten less time, but that wasn't true. So that's why he's mad. But what this scene is he's they're in this basement.
Do you see
theater.
why Davey doesn't make videos like you?
Yeah, I am.
Do you see what?
I'm doing my best here. So they're in this basement theater. It's odd, and then he walks up to her, and Robert De Niro straight up
put an arm around.
He's like, "Can I put my arm around you?" And instead of putting an arm around her, he puts his thumb in her mouth.
Like
2 times,
kinda
improvised.
throws her.
So he then retracts his thumb from her mouth and then inserts again. And then tongue kisses
It's
her.
tough to watch. It's tough to watch.
And then we find out that was improv. That was first
they
take
did
improv.
one. Yeah, they did one take, and
that was not in the script, and therefore you can't get consent.
you know, it's-
afterwards.
This is before
an act.
intimacy coordinators. This is just old Hollywood. I felt like
That's shooting from the hip. That's insane.
And
so,
they were like, keep it.
I don't condone it. It definitely was disturbing, which was the aim of the scene for
It's a
sure.
one-
so now I'm
Take Tony
sorry
right
that you
there.
have to go watch that. I'm sorry that you're gonna.
I must.
I couldn't believe it was a Scorsese movie.
It was just.
It's disturbing.
Because first off, you already feel weird, but then to know that like the actual apprehension on her face is real, it's pretty wicked.
No,
and then we
it's-
just couldn't pay attention for that shitty Dan Aykroyd movie. It was
It
bad.
completely derailed like our thought process. Like, I mean, we were reflecting during the movie.
Now, have you ever seen Celtic Pride?
That's a Toby pick.
No.
Okay, speaking of Dan Aykroyd, though, his best movie, Celtic Pride. It's great. They kidnap the star of the opposing
the
basketball
Celtics,
team,
the Celtics.
in the Jazz, right?
I mean,
and
dude,
to
the
make the
Celtics-
basketball team win.
Dude,
That
I
one
get
was
so.
amazing.
It's a big dynasty.
Sports movies are shit, right? We can agree on that.
It's a thing.
We can quote you on
It's a
that.
thing.
Sport movies are terrible.
In general, there's a few I like.
Like what?
Major League 2.
I remember at the time thinking that Remember the Titans affected me in
Yeah.
certain ways.
Sandlot.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The Sandlot,
Yeah.
really, you know.
Those are more coming
about
of age
Angels
wrapped around sports.
Angels in the outfield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Again, those are coming of
That's a
age.
terrible
No,
movie.
I hope you're like writing these down. We're giving you gold here. Like coming of age sports movies. Come on.
Big Green.
The Big Green. Okay. The Mighty Ducks.
Oh yes, they did they remade it
I can't
for
watch
Disney
that.
Plus. It was a series.
Unfortunately.
Oh, they brought the
Yeah.
whole everyone back.
I can't watch that. I don't know why.
Okay, my bad.
American Beauty is pretty good, though, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
worth the watch. You're saying that?
I mean, even
that
other than
$20.
you know, you feel bad.
Yeah. It's like listening to like remix, like, you know, the remix to Ignition. It's
Yeah.
like listening to that or any Michael Jackson song.
You know, like it's apples and oranges.
I mean, you're not going to turn off Dirty Diana, but you're going to
No.
be like,
No.
I feel sorry for those boys.
Trapped
I
in
gotta-
the Closet is the best musical that's ever
I
been
was just gonna
made.
say, what about Trapped in the Closet? Trapped in the
Best-
Closet.
Iconic.
It's
Iconic.
fucking incredible. So we had a tradition for a long time that we would watch the whole thing on 420. We would roll a fatty. And
How
then-
long is it? Like, what's the?
Well, you can only find like 20,
20 something.
chapters of it.
Oh, it's like Psalms.
Some of them are lost to time.
There were like 30. He went deep into that story at one point.
love
Surely
it.
they're on like a CD.
I don't think there's. I don't know.
I mean, maybe
I'm
you can
wrong,
find a
but
box set.
It's his Fire on the Mountain.
Yeah.
The last time, so we did that, but then eventually we changed it to when we do an extra dirty podcast where it's like no holes barred type thing. And on that one, we always started out with we would do 1 or 2 chapters at a time.
Yeah.
And then luckily, all the shit came out after we were done watching them. So it's like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
dodge that bullet.
We're not going to keep going. There's no more. So it's fine.
But also,
yeah.
it's a masterpiece, and it's also fucking insane. It just goes off the rails at a certain point, and is
It
just
really does.
Why would I hog tie?
Yeah, dude, that is. Have you seen that clip of R. Kelly and he's been being interviewed, and they're like, they say you hog tie. He's like, they say that I hog tie people. I don't know how to hog tie. Why would I hog tie? It's so funny, but
He
he's
I
definitely
saw
hogtied him.
elements of it. I don't think I really. That one
Man.
didn't stick in the brain
R.
as much
Kelly's-
as some things.
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
would I
Sort of
hog
let
tie?
that one go.
I asked Dave Chappelle to be on it, and he said that's too hot for TV.
Yeah,
I don't even talk like that.
Well,
Rest and fucking. I hope he dies.
Yeah, is like
he's not dead.
Is
yet, but-
Epstein
Yeah, I
like
don't-
Michael Jackson?
is Epstein
was gonna
like
say,
Did he
Michael
die
Jackson?
before? And Jimmy Savile, did he die before his victims had vindication?
Epstein was in jail.
Yeah, well, I
But he
mean,
died before like his victims were able to,
That's
formally
well, yeah.
accuse him, just like Jimmy Savile and potentially.
I don't think Epstein was like, man, I'll only feel bad if I'm formally.
charged.
No, I'm saying.
Well, but he was formally,
He
like-
died before they were able to have their day in court, just like Jimmy Savile.
He already looked the parents in the faces, though, before. A lot of parents
Well, I mean,
dropped
they-
him off.
So like his victims were like in the hundreds, like just like Jimmy Savile.
Why do you keep saying his name like that?
Jimmy
What are you
Savile?
doing?
Is that what it is?
Is it
I know
Savile?
what you're
It's Jimmy
talking about.
Savile.
He was a creep and he was close to the royal family.
Sir
and
Jimmy
shit,
Savile,
but-
yeah.
Okay. So Houston is an Anglophile. Like he loves British culture for some
I'm
reason.
curious about British pop culture, just like they whatever.
likes-
Well, then
royal
look up
families.
freaking Don Broco and Everything while you're at it.
Okay, I will.
Both great British bands.
Okay.
We checked out Don Broco.
Yeah, we have their Wikipedia pulled up.
Yeah. Don Broco. Okay.
Yeah, there you go, Houston. You can read up on them on the other monitor.
Yeah, hopefully,
Feel that. I
hopefully you get a
appreciate that.
sense of their music from their Wikipedia page.
I mean, well, is it copyrighted?
Yeah, I
we
feel
could
it.
play a
Oh,
little
I'm sure
bit
it
of
is. Yeah, don't play
Okay.
it.
So
Play 5
I mean,
seconds.
Oh.
No,
The
don't-
Queen loved
well,
their song Club Sex, I hear.
okay.
Check that shit out.
They have a song called Club Sex?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's so European.
Oh wait, no, that was one of the initial band names.
Was Club
Summer,
Sex.
Fall, and Club Sex. I like Club Sex though. That's
Well, you have to
everyone
say it with
loves.
an Eastern European accent. We have club sex.
yeah.
We have come to party.
Well, I didn't know that.
We'll see.
I won't listen to them now.
Wait, can everyone see this?
That's fair.
No, not everyone can see that, Houston. That's just for you, buddy.
No,
I
see,
enjoy
you do
that.
learn something.
My
from the
favorite
wiki
crayon
page.
color is green.
So, are you ever gonna bring back the videos? Are you not allowed to do the diagnosing sitcoms anymore? Is that something you're gonna bring back?
I'm going to do in May, actually. I'm going to start doing some. I have 2 other series ideas that I want to do. One of which is a lot more of that, just kind of trope dissection stuff. It obviously won't be called Your Brain on Cracked. It won't even be a listicle, but it's in the same vein of like, here's something weird I've noticed in movies.
Yeah.
The first episode is a little bit about like a lot of kids movies. I don't know if you've noticed this. One of the ways that they do world building in kids movies now is they're like, oh, actually everything is a bureaucratic nightmare behind the scenes. All the magical things of the world are actually run by a CEO. So it'll be like, earlier ones will be like the Tooth Fairy or whatever with Dwayne The Rock Johnson is like has to work for a corporation. Every third Santa movie is like,
it's all red tape.
Yeah, or like Spirited, that one with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. They're like trying to hit their KPIs for like changing people's lives. It just all that stuff. And I have a theory as to why that might be the case. Oh. And then
trying to normalize being a cog in the machine.
Kind of. Yeah. I think it's a combination of that, and I think I'm going to try and tie it into the rise of like populism, authoritarianism stuff that's going on right now. Because it's like everybody's scared of everything. And how much easier is it if you believe, well, there's like a guy will tell me what to do, and there's an order to everything. Nothing's random. There's a whole company behind it. The monsters in your bed, under your bed.
They're in my bed.
That's exciting.
I'm fucking the
I
monster.
sleep with my demons.
They're beholden to shareholders,
No, but you're basically describing religion, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
This is important.
That's another point I made, was like, this is sort of superseding how in the 1800s, that's another way, and earlier, obviously, but like pre-film projectors, it's kind of a way to ascribe order to the chaos.
Yeah.
Which,
with fantasy, back to fantasy, escapism.
Yeah,
you need something to believe in. You need a common enemy or something to fantasize about to make your life more interesting.
So
it's just boring.
I mean, did you grow up religious?
I am, and I
you
still
are. Okay.
attend. I work part-time at a church, so I'm very comfortable speaking from sort of an insider's perspective on this stuff, but I particularly think that the American brand of Christianity, if you could call it that, is poor.
Yeah.
Is.
Poor folk.
The European brand isn't great either.
Well,
It's European brand is borderline non-existent.
So I mean, but like that. But the thing is, though, is that like I believe that people have to have something. They have to have that hope. It has to come from somewhere. So like it's that same thing of like, because nobody knows the answer. Nobody knows what's real. Nobody knows what's there, and it's a lot more comforting to just be like, this is the one thing that I don't have to worry about today. It's like surviving is hard enough. I don't need to worry about where everything comes from all of the time.
I mean, shit, it's privileged to have the time to look up at the sky if you think like tribally, right? It's like,
well, they're just like sky god, sun god, tree god, dirt god. Like everything is taken care of
time to break down
by their own
everything
god.
else.
That's a great point. I should actually walk it back further. To your point, they're like, how do the crops work? The crop god.
Yeah, corn god, and then you've got fucking lily pad god, like, and then you've got too many gods, and that's why they subsidized. They got it. They brought it down.
They've got
when you're fighting for your life to stay alive and to eat, if those are your main goals during the day, you don't have time to break down everything.
It's its own bureaucracy.
Philosophize.
It's like, think wherever all this comes from.
Yeah,
That it made its way down the line.
I was raised Southern Baptist and Church of God. Those
Is that
were
a
the
lively
Church of God was really they spoke in tongues.
I love it.
They did
I love it.
wild shit, like
Charismatic, yeah.
charismatic, cool ass
Really just
people,
playing it
chill
up.
people.
Well, that's like the genre if you're gonna.
I mean, it was a theater show for sure.
yeah, dude. It's jazz. It's
Yeah,
jazz
they're
music.
bebop and scatting all over the place.
I love that. Not the kind with snakes, though.
Yeah, no, it was like a step back from snakes. No snakes involved. But
Was it a giant room? Did they have the
Big room.
ear microphone?
not an arena.
I wanted
church,
to go
but-
to a huge church like that
But they
just
would
one
do,
time.
I don't know what I don't know if you want to get into this or not, but I know what
It's up to you
denomination
guys. I
you
mean,
were.
Oh, dude, we talk about whatever.
But
I don't
no,
know if that's like sexy for the.
It's
They don't.
fine.
No. They don't care. They don't. Don't
along
worry
for the
about
ride.
them. They're here. They know us.
Great,
They know what we're doing.
we can talk about whatever you want.
No, did you ever see anybody like get taken over by the Spirit, the Holy Ghost, or like?
So I
spoken in
grew up
tongues?
PCA, which is the Presbyterian Church of America. So this is like John Calvin. These are the like people that came that were like, we're mad at Catholics.
Yeah.
We're coming here and we're building things out of wood, and we're very straightforward. And it's still very much that way. It's a lot more focused on the like everybody's like a lawyer or whatever. Like it's the religion was PCA specifically was founded by a bunch of lawyers. So there's like a ton of bylaws and all this stuff
They found
specifically around the
loopholes.
governance.
Yeah.
So like they try like super hard to say you're not allowed to be in charge of anybody unless you fit all these criteria and you're voted in by these people at this time. And that
you're a
always kind of
sovereign
appealed
citizen.
to me. Well, it's one of those things kind of built by a bunch of these this like American branch of like we're trying to be like the American government. It's trying to be very like powers diffused, so that you don't get the one crazy. Hopefully, obviously things don't always work this way, but like the one cult of personality pastor guy who is freaking rich beyond your wildest dreams and like slaying people in the spirit, making them convulse and fall over. Anyway, so that's sort of my background. I actually lean more towards back to being an Anglophile. I actually like my favorite theologian is actually an Anglican. So I'm actually closer to. So I tend to skew more that way, and I get really uncomfortable. Actually, one of my honest ads that I wrote all by myself is if mega churches were honest.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And that's mostly, I mean, not exclusively, but kind of a Southern Baptist thing. These sort of huge
They're
churches.
everywhere down
Evangelical.
Yeah.
Like, I think that like our city, Chattanooga, has like one of the densest populations of churches anywhere.
There are some like monuments that they've erected too. Like they're the three crosses that are like 40, 50 feet tall.
Oh yeah. They're all around here, dude.
And like I heard that like they spent $1 million just to like build those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like just big. Like,
so do you like prescribe to any kind of like? Do you think that there were any kind of like? How old do you think people are?
oh,
So, yeah. So one of the things that's great about so there's Anglicanism, but there's also this thing that a lot of the guys that I associate with. Basically, we do this thing on Wednesdays where we just go to a bar and we talk about theology in a very loose way.
Nice.
There's this podcast called BEMA, BEMA. And you actually can't get it on Spotify. But the whole thing is that this is actually trying to approach Christianity from an Eastern perspective. Everything that we hear, Baptist being a very big part of this, very Western, very sort of, if it says this, then it is this, and that's it. It's like a Greek thing where it's like everything is about facts, everything's about logic. Whereas Eastern philosophy and stuff, so this is coming from more of a Jewish heritage, is a little bit more like, hey, in the Bible, there are a lot of instances where they would take a well-known myth at the time and rewrite it to use it to metaphorically describe how they believe God operated.
Right.
Yes.
So like if God was in, so it would be like, I mean, this is a stupid example, but it would be like, okay, if they were writing the Bible today, they would take Fast and the Furious or something, or they would take Star Wars, some like monomyth that we've all seen, and in it,
But that's what it is already, though. So it's already
right.
that.
But I mean, so like, I don't know, Palpatine would be God and he would be really nice at the end. And they would say, this is our version of that.
It's the old hero story. Like it kind of translates through every religion. But I do like that you're taking that outlook on it. That makes sense to me. Like it being metaphorical makes
Well, I think it's smart because you like because like whatever you want to classify God as is like this amorphous thing, right? Is like there's no way to like actually make it tangible. It's like it's older than everything, whatever it is, and it put everything here. But there is no telling how long we've been here. There's like we find stuff all the time.
And
it's like we found a
fight.
shoe print from millions of years ago. We're finding like fucking Göbekli Tepe like in Turkey, like. That's like fucking like 18,000 years old or something like that.
But people just fight over the name of the entity. That's what they fight over more than anything.
Oh yeah,
Like-
I mean in recorded history.
It seems,
But it's
I'm
like,
just
do
one of
you
the biggest
see
problems.
most religions as like virtually very similar? Because most have the same golden rule.
Yeah.
It's like
Not
Darwinism,
really.
man. They're like
Yeah.
in
I don't-
metaphor, right? I mean, like they're
Yeah.
teaching similar lessons with similar stories.
yeah, it's all software.
I would say no, only because that feels sort of foundational to the thing.
Well, I mean, like,
But,
to me, well, no, not if
I
it's-
get what you're saying.
Not
and
if it's
I
an
do think-
understanding of because it's geographical, right? Because like all these things are like they're like these like these points because like everybody's spread out, right? Everybody was spread out. So after we, depending on whatever you think, like either God plopped us in Africa and then we spread out from there or whatever. Like if you think that people have been spread out, like over time they're gonna like based on their geography because they're not talking to each other, and if they are, it's from people traveling and telling these stories, fucking telephone game style. Like
Yeah.
it's not crazy that like because that stuff happens all the time where people come up with the same shit on other parts of the planet.
Well, there's
Like-
a case of simultaneous thought happening in a lot of different
polygenesis.
places.
Yeah.
It's not what it is.
What? I'm not a bigot for saying that.
We looked that word up, before.
But
That's not.
so
Let me say this. How about this?
Yeah.
Here's what I'll give you. And I'm no theologian. I am just
well, this
a guy
stuff
that
interests
writes-
me so much. Like I'm
good topic.
I'm a guy that writes dick jokes for the internet. So
Fuck yeah.
So I want to listen
in
to
mind.
you.
So here's what I would say. If I'm gonna, this sort of goes maybe to what you're saying and not. And I wish I had a more coherent way to say this. So the Anglican theologian that I love so much is this guy called N.T. Wright, and he's written a book called "Surprised by Hope." To your point about we're all looking for hope, and a big part of I'm going to get it. I don't want to make this too long, but I also realize that these are like 7 hours sometimes.
We don't care, bro.
All right. So let me start from this. The rapture is a widely held belief in America. This idea that like the Christians will get sucked up into the air first and escape to heaven or whatever.
That is super sci-fi. I love that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That shit was invented like 150 years ago. That's
the idea of that.
That's brand new.
Yeah.
That's like
Okay.
like coming around when cars are being invented. That's nonsense.
Okay.
I'm just gonna
So
put
this
that
is,
out there.
So this is a widespread belief that's based on an interpretation.
From the 1800s.
It
Very
never
recent.
made sense to me why everyone else would die and their spirit would go up to heaven, but then on this one day,
But that's
your
Judgment
body
Day, though,
goes up.
right? So
What goes
everybody
up-
that's
what
been
happens
dead-
to your body when you get sucked past the clouds, man, it just drops fucking hundreds of feet to the ground, and your soul goes up.
You got to be dropping bombs.
No,
for
he's
that.
making.
Or does it
he's making-
disintegrate?
This is a good point. No, this is legitimately part of the thing to me. Part of that suggests that your body and your soul are like two separate weird things
Yeah.
that you can like pull out of each other, and I don't believe that to be true. And I think what's cool about this this specific book, but also just sort of this theological thing in general, is the idea is that when you die, according to this, there is probably like, this isn't quite purgatory, but it's in a similar idea where it's like, okay, yes, like your body is very clearly dead, but your soul will probably go do something for a little bit. But that's not really the goal, right? That's not what it is. And so in the same way that Christians believe that Jesus died and then came back, but he didn't just come back, he still had like nail holes in his
Yeah.
hands. Like it was the same thing. The goal, the ultimate hope is that all of the earth and everything and all of it will be remade too. So like all the shit that we're doing now our bodies, whether we burn the planet with nuclear fire or like floods or whatever, all of that actually matters. Whether it can be fixed, I mean, I'm sure God could fix whatever, but it's all of these things matter in a way that we don't understand, and all of that's going to be remade. And so when it comes to other religions and other ways of looking at it, it's sort of like the thing that I perpetually wrestle with is like, okay, is there like, when you remake all of creation or whatever, is there a hell in that where people are just like,
leave that out? Yeah.
I thought,
I mean,
honestly,
that's the part that I struggle with a lot. But I do think of that as like,
about the bodies like actually going up into heaven. So about that, you were saying the earth would be created, but about the actual lifting of the bodies, what would happen to the flesh?
well, I don't think anybody's literally floating anywhere.
Where does it go?
That's my.
But that's
It can't. No, it can't be. It has to transfer somewhere. The energy of the fucking.
well,
flesh.
but again, these are all interpretations because he was saying that was made up, and also if that were the case, it would be this kind of idea. Because there's also people that say the whole thing of like if when you're dead, you stay dead until judgment. Until that day comes.
Game over.
And then so it's game over
So you're in
until
purgatory.
judgment. So it's like everybody that's been dead has stayed dead, blackness, nothing. And then when judgment day comes, everybody
so
goes.
we're just waiting for the game to be over, and then we'll move on to that.
But that's just what I've read and
what
heard.
video
Yeah, that's
games
for
like
sure
that?
another way to look at that. But I think in general, especially in America, there's an overemphasis on this. It's called Gnosticism, but it's this idea that like the body and the soul are two separate things that could just be
Detached.
cleaved. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not. Like we are physical things that exist in a physical world. Like that shit matters.
Do you not think that there is
Wouldn't you
something
die
to
with your body though?
What are you talking about?
If you were attached to your body
it
and
made
your
me-
body died, you would die.
You said cleaved. It made me wonder if you read his Dark Materials growing up.
I haven't.
Okay. I didn't know because it's religious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's allegorical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty literal. They the way that they tell it is that like the God that everyone is dealing with and worshiping now was actually a Lucifer character, and that like the good angels were expelled from heaven and they fought a war that they lost, and that the current authority or whatever was, the not good faction. It was like a lie that was perpetuated.
So
interesting.
do you believe that? So to me, it always made more sense that like hell or like the hell or heaven kind of seem like things that we experience here. Like I feel like I feel like there's states of mind. I feel like we have that ability to choose between that kind of like, because I don't believe in the devil or like the God or whatever you want to call it. Like I don't believe in like the angel or devil on your shoulder or them fighting over your soul. I think that's you. I think that's the two sides. I think that's your duality. I think we all have the capability and the capacity to do either. I think that is like the free will. I think that is like the consciousness. I think that that's the thing that makes us like in the image of is the fact that like we are that dichotomy. We are that duality. We can be both things. We are the experience of the universe. Like, because like what like the Big Bang and God, it all kind of works together in the sense of like you bestow that kind of like creation on the universe because we were nothing and everything for so long that you would want to experience something on any kind of level for any amount of time to know what it was like. So we made ourselves this little bitty tiny thing on this little bitty marble in this vast nothingness to experience.
Yeah.
And
To
harvest
experience
gold.
things and harvest gold.
Just be real.
Well, like I guess the question truly is about the afterlife, not about what's going on currently, because it wouldn't affect you. The one that affects you is afterlife question, because that's just one that we truly don't know.
I'm so fascinated
What
by
are you laughing
angels,
at?
like the classes of angels and stuff, and like how they might experience time and like how that might interplay with like Christianity. Like, so you have like, dude,
What
like
you know
there's-
about angels, doctor?
So you have what archangels, which is like kind of a lower one, and then there's cherubim. There's like upper angels, like seraphim.
Do you get
seraphim.
into any of that?
Well, let me say about time. I had this weird thing in college where I took a metaphysics class,
Mm-hmm.
a philosophy class, simultaneously with at the time, a Bible study with a math professor. And weirdly, we kept running into the same thing. Like, they would discuss, and they almost always lined up. And so time is really interesting to me in general, because the way they were bringing it up in metaphysics, I think the most widely held philosophical view of time now actually relates pretty well to what my math professor viewed as a way that God would interact with it. But basically, time being sort of, when all of creation was created, so was time. All of it. So the whole thing already exists. We just happen to experience our little slice as it goes. But like, realistically, if you could get far enough up, enough dimensions up, we would be this like worm on a table of time.
Have you watched Waking Life?
No.
Can I please give you the gift of this movie? It's a Richard Linklater
From the director of
Waking
Dazed and
Life.
Confused.
There's literally a theory in that they describe about being stuck in a single day in history, and all of time it happens overlaid on this single day in history, because that's when time stopped, and we're just reliving these things in different perspectives, you know. But that movie is full of it's like, it's about lucid dreaming. It's about like a lot of different ideas. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well, 'cause
It's good.
To me, it always fucks me up because like I get so caught up in like the fallible nature of humans.
Yep.
We're the best storytellers,
Right.
and we have made everything up until this point.
Yeah.
We have literally made everything up. We like everything that has a name, we named it. We've decided what it does and who calls it what and goes near it. Like, we have decided everything up until this point, and we're great liars and great storytellers. So it's hard for me to almost give anything like any kind of credence over. Like, it's so hard to want to believe anything, you know what I mean? Because people are full of shit, and like, especially back then, like way back then, like it was like subjugate people or die. So what's the easiest way to get people to do what you
Okay, you're
want?
talking about the past like 800 to 1,000 years.
2,000, like even more, like even further, like pharaohs, kings, like all that shit. There's always been someone who felt like they knew better and needed
life
to
or
tell
death.
people how to do it. Like, so like, and generally that kind of probably started with like tribe leaders and people that would be like, you know what, y'all aren't doing shit. I'm gonna help y'all out. But then it becomes this kind of like hunger for like this power over people, and like
It
again,
started
to
with
me,
people trying to find peace about
I'm
being
curi-
alive, right? That's
Yeah.
that's
Well,
where,
yeah.
I'm
where the
curious
drive comes from.
about when sorry, Roman culture kind of like found its way into Africa, like that point in history. Like, so you're talking about people like indoctrinating and like spreading like their beliefs and like, you know, potentially like killing people, or like
I'm talking about the overall stretch, the overall grasp of it, like where it comes from the very, like, from the creation of where we decided to start telling people that there was something that made us. Because of course it comes from that need for comfort. It comes from that need because, like, we don't know. We just woke up. Like, every day when you wake up, that could be the beginning of everything. You don't know. You could have just woke up into this, and you're just kind of going along with whatever you've made up.
Does it make sense now that we told you we started when we were making DMT on the road? Does it all make sense now why we're so weird?
I think everything you're saying is like completely fair, and I don't like disagree out of hand. I honestly, yeah, I think just because something is old doesn't necessarily mean it was ignorant or wrong. And so I think, if anything, I think one of the things that's been cool about this podcast, for example, is it goes literally straight through the Bible, and it's trying to go from that time period's perspective, and try to explain where it's coming from. And I think that's just it's just interesting to me, because I think everything that I tend to hear nowadays, regardless of religion, tends to be something like, oh, look what we just figured out. We just figured this out. And I think, obviously, there's a million things the world has freaking exploded in the last 100 years, just all the things that we've learned. But I just think there are some things and I think that, when we're arguing or discussing things like that, I think there's sort of this, I don't know, this kind of a thing that I'm trying to learn a little bit more to live in is the unknowableness of some things. The complete opposite of having a bureaucracy behind everything, which is how this whole freaking thing started.
Hell yeah.
And just sort of lean into it and be like, absolutely. Many of the concepts that we've come up with God are things that we could have just come up with because we're great at coming up with everything. And there was this talk I heard one time that was saying like, you have to assume that if there is a God that is this far above us, that even the act of making a Bible or making himself knowable at all is this incredible condescension of whatever he actually is to try and fit it into something that you could understand.
Yeah.
There's no way it's accurate. It can't be accurate.
Why do he wants to be called God? His name is Kevin.
Right. Well, we could have gotten that. No, but and I think it's an important thing to always be questioning and discussing and
Yes, that's my very point. Is that like
learning. I don't know.
Tell me if you understand this. Is like I can't submit to an idea because that means I'm defeated and it means I'm done learning.
What?
Like I'm done questioning things once I fully submit to an ideal. And so I would rather keep questioning and consider everything constantly and be on the fence rather than given to a side that was wrong, I suppose. On anything, that's just where my mind
This is why you don't open doors for people.
Yeah, this is why, because Toby just does not want to open doors.
It doesn't
for
make
people.
you a bitch.
Yeah.
I just have, I suppose I don't want to die on a hill that's wrong. And so I'd rather just learn about all the hills to die on. I'd rather just know about them rather than die on them. I don't want to give my life up to something or my mind up to something that's going to make me look like a fool in the end. Yeah, make me look like a bitch. At the end of life, judgment day, I look like a bitch if I didn't get it right, whatever religion's right.
I think that's okay. So I would say sort of yes. My addendum to that would be, I think you should, in my opinion, I would hope that I would believe in the best thing that I could at the time, but be completely open to that changing as new information comes in. I don't know if that's any different exactly than what you're saying, but it's like, for example,
You're saying give in.
I believe in
until
the
you get better
institution.
information.
Well, like think about it like this. Like, I believe in. I think there's value in being.
Hey, you gotta blow up first, right?
Yeah, you gotta sell
blow
out
up first, and then you be yourself, and then you question that and define it in your own. You gotta have a platform.
what
Well, I was
is
just
it
gonna
like-
say. So, like, I think there's value in me being married to the one person, and I don't want to keep it equally in hand. But I could also just, do whatever I want on this. Until I'm convinced
You'd
otherwise.
rather just
I
not be
suppose.
with someone if you're just gonna fuck everybody, right? Because you don't want to fuck someone
I'm
over.
just saying, I
As
don't.
far as ideas go,
Yeah. As far as ideas go, I don't want to be married to one because I'm gonna fuck all these
it's
other
gonna be
ideas.
real awkward. You like,
And it's gonna be real awkward around this idea now.
You like,
But I was just gonna say, I think it's okay to have the courage to be wrong. Like, I think it's okay to be wrong and not. I don't think you.
That's brave
I think
of you,
it's-
man. That's brave.
I don't think you have to. I think it's okay to be,
I don't want
To
to
me,
be
though,
wrong.
as long
it's
as
like-
you can change after that.
Yeah.
I'd rather just not be involved than wrong.
But
I
see,
feel that-
like, to me, it's like,
That's fine.
there are just so many through lines in almost every major religion, and even going back to like religions before these religions were formed. There's so many through lines and so many synchronicities within them that it's hard for me to not think that it's like they were virtually filling the same hole, just in a geographic location for that same time period ish.
polygenesis.
I love it. Polygenesis is not a good word.
Dude, but to me, I think that like, even if there is, if at the end when I die and it's not, because I don't think that it's just black. I don't think that it's just nothing. I don't know what it is. But I do know that, like, I know what happens right before. I know what happens right before you're gone.
I like that.
Well, because we did because when you're about to die or when you have a near death experience, your pineal gland flushes DMT. So you have a really intense DMT trip. So a lot of people think that it's your fail safe to help you go to the next thing.
The Tibetans believed that it was like literally a portal to the next life, that it was what sent you past it. And other religions believe that it was almost a drug to sedate you and make you feel okay about the pain of transition.
And there's that too, that it could just be the thing that like your body has this like, I'm gonna get you high before you go because this shit's crazy.
I swear, I thought you were talking about like living.
No,
Like,
no, but so there's that aspect of it because like so what you experience by taking some DMT like or experiencing that, because what's weird about it is
You don't
when you
live that far from us.
no hold on, we're not trying to tempt this boy.
I've been to Chattanooga.
Yeah, come hang out, bro.
yeah,
Twice.
drink some ayahuasca and go rock climbing with us.
That's the dream.
Let's have
That's
a
when
day,
you
you know?
We'll make a funny video and we'll get you out of your mind. But you don't seem like the boy that gets tempted. You have strong
really.
constitutions.
No, this is a man that probably already experiences things like that through other ways.
Yeah, have you ever had a psychedelic experience?
You know.
I wouldn't say so. No.
I respect that.
You've had spiritual things. Obviously, you're very spiritual. So, I mean, that borderlines that to me.
This is a lie. This was fake.
I'm the devil.
I honestly didn't. I haven't come into any of this because, you know, I was doing crack on the side of the road and then I had a vision or something.
Sounds tight.
It's a lot. I do sort of approach a lot of these things a lot more from obviously it's a culture I was born into, to your point. Like I am, it was inescapable in a lot of ways, but also it's been a lot of like study and stuff, and honestly community and people that are around me.
Yeah.
It's a little, my hope is that this is another thing I've been learning. I've just sort of, okay. So in wait, when the hell was Trump elected?
2016.
2018?
16.
And it must have been, no, it was 2017. So about a year into Trump being elected, I was working an internship at Paste Magazine. And they thought the way that I wrote was funny and sarcastic enough that they put me on the quote unquote Trump beat. So I had to write about Trump every freaking day,
Oh, that's
5
annoying.
times a day for a whole summer. And by the end of it, I was like, I don't know if I believe anything that I thought I believed, because asking me prior to that, I grew up as a Christian conservative, whatever. I didn't think about it. I never voted, actually.
Same.
All that stuff. So the reason I say this is I just think there are a lot of things about sort of the widely held American beliefs that I had growing up that I'm starting to question. And one of them happens to be this hyper individualism that we always ascribe to, that it's like all that really matters is what you think about shit and then what you do and all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh
And
my God. No one cares.
I just think so. I actually am trying to believe that the community around me or that I find myself in also feeds into the reality of who I am and who I should be too. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's kind of like, I don't know. Like what? What'd you say?
I said I agree.
Do you mean like everybody gets a trophy type shit? What do you?
No.
No. What I mean is like, again, back to sort of more Eastern cultures are gonna the way that you feel about yourself has a lot more to do with the way that your community feels about itself and you and whatever. So like in a Japanese family, honor and how you are bringing it into the family or taking it away from the family affects you in a way that an American kid might not care as much. You know, a lot of us fought with our parents and then we left and that was it, or whatever. And I think these are all things I'm just learning a lot. I'm hoping to learn a lot more about. And so, but to the psychedelic question, it's not because I had a near-death experience and decided this is what I believe now, or like Jesus found me in a Taco Bell and like told me this is what I should believe.
Oh, I didn't mean like that's how you got into it. I was just asking.
No,
in
I
general.
know, but I'm.
It is.
I know, but I'm
Don't
just saying
believe
that
Taco
like
Bell Jesus. He's a liar.
he's great. No.
Jesus.
I'm just saying that most of my experience with it has not been particularly heightened, I guess.
Okay.
There have been times like, but nothing I would even. I don't really feel like in that way.
Because like, so do you ever think about creation? Do you ever think about like putting yourself that long ago? Because like to me, it's one of those things of like trying to put yourself as far back. Because even if there is a God, like that's probably just, again, that's a name we gave something that we don't understand and probably can't comprehend. And then that idea. Let me say.
Well, no, I was answering your question. He did have
ask a question.
He has his meetings where he talks about shit like that with his bros.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
No, I was asking him if he thinks about this, because to me, if there was a God like that, then like it's so ancient and it is so all-knowing that like I don't think any of the attributes that us as humans have given that being are anywhere near accurate. I feel like it is so old and it just does not give a fuck about those things. So if like even at the end of your life, it's like, hey, what's up? I kind of like I can see your soul. So I see that you were a pretty decent dude. Y'all were wrong about everything. But that's cool. That's cool. You're going to hang out here, or, your energy is going to keep going. You're going to be recycled, whatever it actually ends up being. Like, I think that like that has to have that capacity, right? There isn't a capacity on like the actual forgiveness of the creator, right? Because like, if that's true, then he created you. And if he created you and then you were always damned, he put that flaw in you. So it's
That's
one of those
destiny.
things that's like,
Well, the common like thread.
Right?
so I would just think that like,
predestination.
I would just think that the God would actually be above those things. And those are creations of us.
Yeah.
Like we've put those barriers and those kind of like, those kind of boundaries on what a God is and does, when I just think it's so old and ancient that if it put us here, it was like, nah, you did the thing, you lived the life.
Yes, actually. I think that like in general, all these things, if the new earth gets built and God is like, oh yeah, I was Anglican, that would be so stupid.
The correct answer was Anglican.
Yeah. That would be ridiculous. I think you're right. I think at best anybody is like 0.001% of the way there, to your point. I completely believe that, and I think there's this book called Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, the guy that did Chronicles of Narnia and all this stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that he started with, he was like, let's do this. So you get up from your chair, I sit in your chair, you come back and you say, what the hell, that was my chair. The only way that we're able to have any sort of discussion about who may or may not be allowed to sit in the chair, we both have to agree that there is some sort of ultimate morality that governs the universe, right? Because otherwise, what are we even talking about? What we're both saying is there's a right answer right here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's this. You think it's that. But we both agree that it exists, right? So he sort of, I'm just going to skip through it because I can't remember all of it. But like, basically he ends up suggesting that that's God. And a lot of what we're doing is this kind of discussion about taking this idea that there is morality and there are other things like this, right? Like so take any conceivable thing, right? Like, you could even take stupid stuff like who should be the next president? There is actually a right answer, maybe, probably. And the only
But
reason
it's
that
not
we can,
any of the candidates.
probably, right? But like, or make it more nebulous, like what is the ultimate justice for any situation? Mm-hmm. There is I believe there is an answer, And if I don't believe that there's an answer, then like what we can't even really talk. Like we can't argue about anything. Like we can't discuss anything if we're like.
Well, see, I would argue
anybody could be right.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I would argue that right and wrong in itself and morality in itself is a human creation. And
I disagree. So that's like the one thing that I'm gonna.
oh, yeah.
It's just
There is a quantifiable correct.
That was
no.
hell
I'm
yeah.
not saying
I crossed the line.
Nah, put him down.
No. I'm not saying that you're not. My version of morality is not necessarily correct, or yours is wrong, or yours is right, and
But
mine's.
it exists.
But I think there is a right answer, and I think we are all just doing our best to get as close as we can. And
See,
some are probably closer than others.
I think
It's
the
my
universe
opinion.
is more chaotic, and therefore there is no right answer.
He's just saying that ultimately there is an answer to every situation that you're in, so
I don't
there's
think
so
so.
many outcomes that you can
And that's
have.
fine.
There are better
That's
ones.
my.
No, don't try to convince me. I would. believe
I can respect
it's-
that. I feel like you're saying that there's cardinal truths to like the current reality that exists outside of people. Like that there's a correct like state of being.
They're unknown.
Yes.
Okay, wait. You want to get really hard?
Let's get hardcore.
Fuck
I'm
us
gonna draw you
up.
guys a frickin' Punnett square.
Oh,
Hell
draw
yeah,
me something.
dude.
Tell me.
Let's go, doctor.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm sure there are a million ways to sort of like diffuse this or debunk this or change it or whatever. But the basic idea is like, okay, so what are the two? I don't know how to lead you up to this question without just telling you, but like, what are the two main? Whatever, I can't do it. So basically, there's truth that is known and truth that is not known.
Right.
You can use
Yeah.
that as two categories.
Okay.
So let me just draw my square.
I love this. I love that you got some extra.
I love this stuff. I think it's
shit.
fun.
We're going in.
Regardless, I'm not going to get to the end of this and like mail you a Bible unless you want one. But like,
Because I've got Bibles.
It's just, I just think it's interesting, and I
No,
think
I love debating this type of stuff because it should be in constant debate.
Well, this
I
is
think-
like this is cool stuff.
so. We got known, we got unknown.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then the other aspect of it, the other facet of truth, in my understanding of it, is objective, inherent to the object, subjective, inherent to the person, the subject, or like the person experiencing the thing. So that would be kind of the thing. So,
Can I say
Objective.
something? Sorry, but already as thinking from that opposing state of mind,
Go
you're
for
already making me say that I believe something is 100% known and factual. So you've already won by even drawing
No,
this
no.
graph in our argument.
it's
Because you
all
make-
you have to is okay. I mean, I guess you have to assume that it's possible to know.
To know 100%, yeah. Well, okay, but assuming that I think like that, let's go ahead. I
It
just
seems
had
like
to
a classification of reality.
I had to make.
So so we've got your objective, subject. Oh, I'm backwards. Subjective, known, unknown. Okay. So if you had to guess, what would you call an objective known?
An objective known.
A traffic light.
Yeah, stop
Yeah.
sign.
Oh well, just give it like there's a word for it. Not like yes.
An objectively
Okay.
known thing, like
I feel like this
So-
is charades right now.
Right.
Say it was the sun is hot. What is that? That's a
Well, yeah. Okay, so that's an objective.
Okay.
That's an objective known. Yeah, that it
but
generates.
but
heat.
that's called a fact. Right?
Okay, yeah,
We would-
fact.
Okay,
we would-
okay. You want
We
us
would
to
call that a fact.
You're right.
I mean, I realize you guys are going to be able to destroy this at some point, but
No,
I find it helpful. So, what would you call a known subjective? Sorry,
no
There's a
subjective
lie, a
fact.
falsehood, whatever.
No,
Jesus
not at all.
Christ.
That's a real thing. This is real
Okay.
truth.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ, a known
So-
subjective.
so it's-
no, I don't know.
What that like living is pain?
Oh, no, it'd be
or
like an
No,
apprentice.
no. So, like a known subjective would be like, Davey, what's your favorite chocolate chip cookie?
Oh yeah, the
Got
fucking
it.
the hard ones. I don't like chewy ones. I like the
Yeah.
ones that feel like a brick
So-
in my mouth.
That's true. That's a true thing. That
Yeah.
would be an opinion. That's your opinion. Your
Yeah.
So a
and
known,
I can have a different opinion, that your opinion does not make mine untrue,
Okay.
right?
So David likes
I was-
hard cookies.
I
which
swear,
didn't know.
you said
wanna-
that, and I
I've
heard
known you
Tracy
for so
Morgan.
long.
It was
But I
like,
like hard cookies. You have to dunk them. I like to
That
dunk
sounds-
my
I don't like the
bad.
chewy ones. I
I like
like
to dunk
hard
'em and
cookies.
hold 'em.
I know
I
that.
want soft.
But no,
So-
no, you're absolutely right that there's just like there's that idea of like, well, because of course like everybody has their opinion because nobody knows who's right. Like, and of course like people have their preferences.
This
of things.
graph-
People
Oh, wait,
have
wait,
their-
wait. We're working
that
up to it,
people-
though.
Okay.
We're working up to it. The point is that there's a slightly different thing here, I guess, is my point. So this is kind of just a simple way of me illustrating all the things I just said. So then this is where it gets trickier, right? Like the unknown stuff. So like what would you call an unknown objective? And this is, I suppose, where we're getting to, right? Like
The Earth is round. Do you want me to?
kind of.
So like the experience
oh,
after
kind of?
the experience
Okay.
after
Well,
death.
The unknown.
When nobody knew for sure-
objectively accepted as truth.
Listen to him.
When nobody knew for sure if the Earth was round, what did they do? Like, what would they? There wasn't opinions, right? Because the opinion, basically, that's called faith or a theory. So that would be like a theory is the more sciencey way of doing it, but it would be like, I think this is what blood does when it clots or whatever. You don't know. But-
The Anunnaki or lizard people. That's a theory, right? I mean, throw that one
Sure.
down on the paper.
And, okay,
Okay.
and here's another way to look at it, right? Like, so say aliens exist. If hostile aliens, do they exist? Do they not exist? You say yes, I say no, but that's not our opinions, right? Because if aliens showed up and they blew up the planet,
Yeah.
we're all dead. It
Yeah.
didn't matter that I was like,
Yeah.
actually, my opinion is that you don't. That's not.
yeah, that's a good point.
I'm gonna
That's
blow you
that's
up
not
harder
really an-
now,
That-
dude.
That's I don't. All right.
No, go for
Let
it.
him
I'm happy for you to try and.
No, keep going.
How
on
are
your
you
graph.
surviving
Finish your
this
graph.
alien invasion?
Yeah. no. Well, no, that's not.
Yeah, what
that's-
part of your American history has been influenced by aliens that's unknown?
Wait, are you talking to me now?
Yeah, no.
Just
Okay.
in general, like
Well, I was more talking about the argument in general, but let's finish the graph and then
how
let's get
many
into
aliens are there?
So this is it. This is just the last part. The subjective unknown, that can't exist. So a subjective unknown would be saying, Davey, what of my mother's many culinary dishes is your favorite?
Oh man, her stroganoff is so good.
She's never made stroganoff. But you
that's
can't
nasty.
have
No, wait.
you can't have a subjective opinion on a thing that you've never experienced. So there's not really a category for that. So really, what we're dealing with is
Doesn't that prove the whole graph wrong, though?
I don't think so because
Oh
I
man,
think
that's dizzying the amount of things that don't exist.
Well, no.
well, give me
If
one
you were
then. Give me
no, if you were subjectively experiencing anything, which we can prove, just so many layers behind our like perception lag on top of like what we can hallucinate, what we can envision, how differently perception can exist. There's so many layers back that you could say that by believing in anything, it's hearsay at that point, you know?
Give me an example of a thing that you think would be a subjective on, or just anything.
What was the last one? A subjective.
Well, it was nothing, so I
Yeah.
don't have a word for it.
Things
But like,
that are
give
not
me,
occurring.
give me an example of like what you're talking, like something that somebody would have two differing, let's just say, views on, or whatever. You get what I'm asking? So like, I'm just trying to make a distinction between whether aliens exist or not is a theory, because they will equally blow you up. Because there is a right answer. They either do or they do not.
Well, no, but
But-
the answer isn't proven until after you're dead, right? It's until
That's
after
what he was
it's
saying. So it
happened.
doesn't matter.
Man,
So your belief on it not only doesn't matter, but it doesn't. I don't think it. Well, no, but see, I could even go into the fact of it couldn't influence it. Your belief
why-
could actually influence the outcome to a
Well,
certain extent too. So, like,
But it totally can matter. I mean, if you don't believe aliens exist and I do, and I build a bunker, and then the aliens show up, I was more right and I prepared in a certain, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know. I see what you mean.
it can matter. Doesn't mean it will matter. I'm just
Sorry,
saying.
I did jump a pretty hefty amount in my mind. Just
I
then,
do-
But what I was saying was like, it's a new concept now.
No, I get that. I'm just like drawing shit on Notepad.
No, I like that.
this.
Aren't I
like
right?
that.
I'm right. I
doing
have
the
to be.
thing.
I'm stuck on doomsday preppers right now.
So I'm saying, I go back to like perception, hallucination, mass hallucinations, jumping topics. What if so many people believe that aliens are going to come that we are going to manifest seeing
we're
aliens?
so-
And by like not talking about it and not paying attention to it is actually, just like withholding the inevitable and pushing it back. So it's like new question.
No, that's fine. So how does that? But does that? Are they manifesting like actual aliens or whatever?
Well, you're seeing aliens.
So
A
we're
bunch
gonna
of
make it
people could
happen.
See
Is that-
aliens.
So what I would say is that that's still just like. I mean, is that?
Whether they exist or not is irrelevant. Like a bunch of people would see aliens if they keep believing that they're going to see aliens.
Well, then they've objectively seen aliens, I guess, but I don't know.
Then you're on a whole new thing. Then you're on like manifestation and all that shit. Do you think that there is life out there?
Feels like mathematically it has to be.
Right.
Makes sense,
So,
I
but
guess.
then do they also fall under the reins of like the boundary of like a Christian God? Do they still have to like do this thing? Have you ever had the argument of like, is there alien Jesus?
Yeah. So
Ooh,
C.S.
alien
Lewis
Jesus.
actually wrote a book about like an alien Jesus, essentially.
If he
I
was
haven't
real,
read it.
he might have been an alien.
I
we
read
don't know.
The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. I think that was it. I think that's the only one I read.
I think so. It's a great question. The short answer is I have no idea. Obviously.
Well, I mean, I'm just asking like
but-
what you would think.
So, assuming back to the angels question, assuming that's another creation, they seem to operate on different rules than humans. So, I imagine there are various. I mean, and animals exist too. They don't seem, as far as nobody seems to be claiming that they have the same sort of moral. I don't know, obligation. So
Have you ever asked
feels
why there's so much shit in the universe? Why is there just so much endless different dimensions and so many different universes? Like, what's going
don't know.
on out there? That should
know.
be my news segment. What's going on out there?
Where you're just drunk and just pontificating.
I feel like aliens have to exist, and I feel like that they probably have like either like avoided us like pretty thoroughly, or that like our consciousness has shifted during a time span that hasn't quite lined up with how they might come around for us.
Well, I think the answer is 65 million years ago, advanced aliens landed here and they fought the dinosaurs and they looked like
Oh,
Adam
hell
Driver.
yeah.
Okay.
Transformers.
No, I'm trying to have a time machine for that.
No, that's a movie that's in theaters right now.
Oh, is that 65? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, dude.
That's
oh my
what
God.
that's what the 65 stands for. 65 million years ago, Adam
Awesome.
Driver crash landed on Earth. Maybe he made humans. Actually, I haven't seen it. So
I
maybe
feel like they're
that's-
gonna pull it. See, like that's why I love. People gave so much shit to Prometheus, but I loved that movie. I was like, oh, I love this. I love this story.
Yeah.
Because like I always really liked the idea that like whatever we perceived as a god was probably just some advanced alien that fucked a monkey. And
possibly. I don't know. So maybe that's the connection. Maybe
it's. I mean, maybe because
it's
like.
all one weird timeline.
Because like, do you ever think about just like people's vocabulary back then? Because it's like what they refer to as like angels and demons could just be what we're calling pan-dimensional beings or aliens.
Oh,
Like-
sure. So I think by the exact same or a very similar train of logic, though, you could make an argument that all in the same way, like it all also reverse points back to a singular thing, right? Which I guess is kind of the point that you're making. But like, if anything, maybe that also proves the existence of some of this stuff. And
Well, it could also just, to me, I'm always trying to look at like how big it could be. Like I try to be a big picture guy. I try to think about how the farthest you can take it. So if you're looking at something that was written so many years ago and you're looking at the words that were used in a translation, so those aren't even the words that were actually used.
Right.
So it's like you're looking at a third generation of this text. And so you're still like bound by the words that they had to describe things. And so our language changes and so many languages change and how we perceive things changes. So it's like there's a lot of references to things that we just call different things now.
Okay.
Yeah. So, sideswipe, here we. There was something I wanted to do with you if you wanted to do.
Okay.
What?
Just
We're sideswiping this.
stop.
We've been going
So this is the
hard.
part.
We've been
Okay.
going heavy. So
Shut up for a second. All right.
no, listen,
I want to tell
I'm
you that this
starting a
is
new
something
thing.
that happens. This is something that happens once Toby's
Starting
had
something new.
a certain number. It's It's
I'm
Toby's
along for
show.
the ride.
Okay.
I will say I have work tomorrow morning, so I'll
about-
ride it for a while. But
You can tap out whenever you want.
well, that's why I was
Okay, great.
trying to ask you before it was
Yeah,
too late.
totally
you know?
fine. If you guys had things that you really wanted to get to that just didn't have to do with like the nature of truth. Or
Well, we got a little too. Yeah, we got far out there for a while.
But see, now we've grown closer
And
together.
true.
Now, like we've had
Absolutely.
talks. Like we're.
You've seen my Punnett Square? I mean,
I like
not everybody
that.
gets to see the Punnett Square.
I mean,
got
and
us
it's
going.
it's big, dude. That's a hog. That's a hog of a Punnett
What are
Square.
you guys?
That's
I haven't seen none of that.
You haven't seen any of this.
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, just
Just
play it
imagine.
back.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had
You're okay.
XY diagrams.
So here's his face. You can see his face now.
Oh.
All
Okay.
right. So Toby, start your.
No, what I was gonna say.
That's how I visualized it.
Because
okay.
I was trying to lighten up the mood because we were getting so deep and heavy.
we're gonna diagnose things.
We were gonna do so. We
Doctor.
actually did a podcast where we did diagnosing sitcoms, but we did it different. We did like we diagnosed like their psychosis as characters. So like we went through Friends and a couple that like, and we diagnosed them on the level of like what kind of, whether they were a sociopath or like had OCD or like, like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not an actual doctor of any kind, to be clear.
Okay.
Well, neither are we. We were the that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, we.
But it was a fun
pretend
little
to be
side.
doctors.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't we all?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a narcissist
But I
that most
wanted
likely
to-
has HPV.
I want to at least do one with you where we go through like a couple characters and diagnose them on that level, like
Okay.
of actually what you think about their psychosis.
Everybody loves Raymond.
No, first off, Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, Jerry's a
From Seinfeld.
sociopath, right? He's definitely full of himself and surrounds himself with people who worship him or use him.
Yeah.
in
Were you a
some
big
way,
Seinfeld guy, Jordan?
I've watched a lot of Seinfeld, but I haven't like watched all of Seinfeld. I do this thing, and this is actually true of almost every comedy that I watch, where I like watch 2-3 seasons and then just sort of don't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like an intentional like I'm done. The exceptions to that have been like Always Sunny, although even then I'm only like season 11 or something. Archer, but even I just realized there's like none that I finished. Maybe The Office and like 30 Rock.
Oh hell yeah!
Maybe Parks
I'm
and
a
Rec.
fan.
Arrested Development. I haven't even finished Arrested Development because like
Oh, yeah,
fifth
there's, like, 2
season,
new
part
seasons.
2.
Yeah, in a movie.
I just couldn't do it anymore. I was
It
just
gets
tired of
dense. I can't do the drama ones. I couldn't finish fucking Game of Thrones. I'm like still like
can do
70% through Sopranos. Like it's one of my favorite like TV shows, and I still couldn't get through it.
Dude,
I don't remember how far I got.
What, The
into it.
Sopranos? I never
Yeah.
finished The Wire. There's like
dense.
3. Yeah, half of it I didn't see. I was like, I'm good.
did you watch The Wire?
I haven't seen The Wire, and I've only watched one episode of The Sopranos. Those are both big holes. In
But
my-
Game of Thrones, you got through somehow. How?
Game of
It's
Thrones.
Breaking
reading a
Bad.
book
Breaking
with
Bad
your
I've seen
eyes.
3 times.
Oh shit, son!
It's
Wait,
like a
I've-
cultural
I've never
thing.
rewatched a show, but I've rewatched Breaking Bad.
That's
Now
awesome.
I got through that, but for sketch reasons, it just seemed so
This is probably
Exhilarating.
not a correct diagnosis. I think the underlying theme of that show is just nihilism. They just have like a such a distance from everything.
Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Because there's
I
no
just think
learning.
they're like the Coen brothers, but worse. It's just like truly nothing matters. So we're just gonna comment on everything and exploit it where we can, and like
One of Larry David's rules for the show was no learning, no hugging. Those
Yeah.
are two things he said about it when he started, and there was no like at the end of the which I skip at the end of like Friends. The last 5 minutes of every
Resolution.
show I skip.
No resolution.
Yeah, he doesn't like when the lights
everything
go down and
gets
the music gets
emotional.
all soft.
Fuck that. I want to see the jokes. I love the intros. I love the story. But fuck,
He's never beaten a
5
video
minutes.
game in his life.
No,
I don't want to finish a video game.
I mean, I can.
that's what's so funny about Seinfeld is that it's like it's weird to put it in a sitcom. That kind of like I mean, it always opens with stand up, which is what it pretty much is. They're just
Yeah.
having funny conversations, but it's
But it's dark. It is kind of dark comedy though on some level.
I
but
never
they're
watched
not-
it.
we're not really building their relationships that much except to like make more jokes about their relationships or whatever. It's not really
It's
you're
about
not in
judging.
it. Like even Veep, which is one of my favorite
I like that too.
friggin'
Julia.
comedies of all time.
Yeah,
It's also
Elaine.
got Elaine in it.
Yeah.
She is such. Have any of you all seen like all of that?
Yeah, I watched
Anyway.
all of Veep.
She is so awful to Buster from Arrested Development
Yeah.
for seasons and seasons, and nothing really seems to change. And then it's like season 6 or whatever, they have this moment in the bathroom where they're like laughing and crying together because she got elected or something like that. And there's like this catharsis in you that's like, oh, they're like real people.
Yeah.
They at
No.
some point they cracked it. We're like, no, they are real people.
Yeah.
Seinfeld never did that. They're like,
Yeah,
no, they're just,
exactly. No,
they're
on
just
the
these
last
like
episode,
brutal archetypal assholes.
the very
Yeah.
last episode, they actually have the first emotional moment of the entire series, which is so they're in court
Yeah.
and they're being arrested for being pieces of shit, and everyone from their past comes up on and like declares them, gives them. What
Tells
is it
them why
called?
they're a piece of shit.
Character
Defamation. You're good.
defamation.
Yeah,
Whatever it is. I don't know what I'm looking for. What the word I'm actually looking for there? They're a character witness.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And so they bring up everyone from the show, and then at the end they like have this flashback, and they almost die, and like it flashes through all the like emotional moments, and has like probably. I'm not gonna say Green Day "Time of Our Life," but it's like it might
Okay.
be. It actually
All right.
might be that song though. That's how bad it is, and I think it is.
Is that because that made you cry and feel stuff and you felt like a bitch
When
so
I
you
was
couldn't
12
watch
years
the-
old.
That's the death-
Well,
the
you
death
know,
of it.
that got played at some like emotional times in middle school when the kid died or some shit. It's like, it was that
Yeah,
dark.
Toby's got the stiff upper lip, man. He's
But they tried one last emotional grab at the end, and it ruined the entire fucking show. It really did.
This is-
because it.
I
changed
like
the-
emotions.
the
I like to
well,
feel
no,
stuff.
No, they're gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even saying that. Again, it's like.
I'm gonna diagnose you right now.
No, I'm just saying it should have ended how it started and how it always was. It shouldn't have taken this left turn, I guess. I was gonna say right turn, but right turns are cool.
Toby
apparently.
expects himself from other people.
That's not
You're
true.
truly
You're
like
just
a
lying on me.
you're a-
dog.
you know,
Don't lie on me to strangers.
You
That's
are a human
dangerous.
goldfish, man.
That's dangerous for everyone around you.
I am a danger. Yeah, I'm a bad boy.
No, I don't
So-
expect myself from anyone, but I am a danger. That's what you should have said. Damn.
Okay. Yes, Jordan.
I was just gonna
Fucking
say,
liars.
but as far as is it the DSM-5? I'm just not well versed on it, so I don't know like
Is
what
that the
is
episode?
actually wrong with them. The like,
Oh,
I can't put a real like. I don't know what drug to prescribe. How about that?
okay. So,
Oh, that's a good next level.
yeah.
So, but can we gift you this idea? Because we're not going to do it. You take it next level and you actually diagnose them psychologically and prescribe them something as characters.
We'd
That
have
would
to do a lot
hilarious.
more research than I feel like I
That's
do.
Yeah,
well,
you're
I
right.
mean, but that's a TikTok series right there.
Oh God, that's funny, but
No.
I don't
No.
know.
You could do I mean, of course you've got like Dennis from It's Always Sunny. He's just a fucking psychopath.
Psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, heavy. I would go ahead
Because that's got to be
and
one of
throw
your
some
favorite
OCD
shows,
on
right?
there.
That's like,
Oh my god, I love it.
it's so good. They're so good.
What would you diagnose Charlie though? He's a special one.
I mean, he can't read, right?
Okay, illiterate.
He's not good at it.
Well, but I just mean I feel like he has a severe like learning disability
okay.
and
Is he the
Undiagnosed
Now-
because he stayed in
Like-
regular
like
classes.
What if he's just autistic and he's the least crazy of them all? What if he's the most sane of them all? You know, because all
like
he
Mac-
he just has a learning disability.
Well, yeah, Mac's not.
I mean, Mac's crazy. They're all crazy, but he's like the
Body
most,
dysmorphia. He's got
does have that. I
let's-
feel like he's just sort of like he's always like flipping between being like a people pleaser, fear of missing out kind of guy, and just prideful, but not
What
necessarily.
did the redcoats call that? I think that's a traitor. What is it called? No.
But he also is always like trying to have emotional stuff, and
Yeah.
he seems like because he's the Catholic, he's always trying to do the right thing, sort of. I mean, he is miserable
No.
at it, obviously, but
But he
The
was
rest
just
of them
in
just
the closet
seem-
for like 7 seasons, right? I mean, how
Longer
long?
than that. I don't think he came out until like season. What
Like
season? are they
13,
in?
14?
Yeah.
Is it that?
they're-
Oh, yeah. So most of his life, we're assuming. he was
Well,
in
I
the
mean,
closet.
they definitely plant the seed early on.
Their
But that's what I'm
first-
suggesting is that he is a little bit more rounded out of a character and like a human person that he has. Like Dennis has no secrets other than that there are even more evil, horrible VHS tapes
Oh yeah.
secrets
of
There's so many videotapes.
of underage girls. Dude. He's got tapes. He listened to a tape in his card where she admitted she was 16. He's like, why do I still have
this. Yeah.
So
Well,
he
I
gets
have no-
rid of tapes. He admitted that he gets rid of tapes. So there's way more that aren't
I just think
in circulation.
Oh, he is a monster.
like and Charlie, you just learn more and more weird games that he plays with Frank or whatever.
yeah,
Like
dude. Night crawlers.
I just feel like Mac is the most
the deepest character, you would say?
He's
well,
rich.
the
Most
most
justice.
likely
He's-
to be a real person that you could meet and be like, they're extremely flawed and I don't actually like them, but they seem like a human person. You'd be like, Dennis should go to jail.
Yeah.
And like Charlie needs to go to some sort
He's a
of
cartoon.
He needs a
basically.
support system.
Yeah, he's not even high functioning, really. He's like
Now, did you
struggling.
see have you seen like the clips of their pilot when Mac was like hitting on the girl with the dick?
Oh,
yeah,
the
'cause-
tranny. Straight up
yeah.
called them the tranny.
The original,
Yeah.
so the
hot.
original pilot was again just based on that was the character development from the beginning. You said it was early on. It was
Yeah.
the first thing they filmed.
I
was
loved her in
Mac
that
is
80s
gay.
show in Club Dread.
And it wasn't revealed. That's the longest, like, kind of slow reveal ever. The first thing they filmed and the last thing they gave up was that Mac was fully gay. But it really showed it in the
Genius.
pilot.
What's
But
your
the cancer one was the other part of the pilot too that
What-
they filmed first.
what is the worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh man. It's a great question. I feel like Oh, okay. Well, I'll go by this metric. Speaking of Charlie Day, the only movie I've ever walked out of the theater
Yeah.
during was Fist Fight.
Oh, with him and Ice Cube.
Uh-huh.
Oh
I
God.
haven't seen
I
that.
just couldn't take it.
Charlie Day and Ice Cube. What'd you say?
It's hard to even explain why. Like it also had the woman from Workaholics in it. The weird blonde.
Yeah.
Julian Bell.
Yeah.
All right. No. Jillian.
Jillian. Yeah, that's it.
They kept doing things. I think even. No. Okay. Yeah. So like, at some point, he says something like, "What did you do this weekend?" She was like, "Oh, I did this. I smoked crack and fed it to my horse or something." And you're like, "Oh, okay. Rule of threes. Nice." And he goes, "Wait a minute. You fed your horse crack?" And I was like, they just kept doing that where they're
Yeah.
like, "Did you miss our
Kept
joke?"
going.
You did what?
Yeah,
like,
and I was
speaking of-
like, I hate this. And this was okay.
Dude.
This is skewed though by the fact that I also I had Movie Pass, and so I could,
Yeah.
I had that freedom.
You're like, I'm
'Cause
not losing anything.
I've had some version of Movie Pass since 2015. When it was like $35.
Yeah.
And I still ran them out of business.
Yeah. Dude,
But
that's the move.
Fist Fight is the one that comes to mind because that's the only time I was like, I just don't want to sit in the theater anymore. I know I'm not going to get anything else out of it. So I left.
It's funny that you were talking about them taking a joke too far and Jillian Bell, because the Workaholics fucking board. They had the board of like cliche jokes when they were working on Workaholics.
Oh, the untouchable jokes.
And then their basic rule was like take everything 3 or 4 steps past where it has been taken. So like the example was
That's a great rule in writing in general. Maybe not past, but like
but see,
whatever
that's
the
what you're
first
saying.
idea you
said
have for a joke
that was
is
a joke
the wrong
that got
idea.
taken too far away from its original idea, right?
Well, they were just reiterating it to make sure you got it, and that's bad writing.
Yeah, I just
They didn't move it forward. They just repeated it.
well, it's like trust your stupid joke. If you think it's funny, let us hear it.
Well, a lot of people they don't think their audience is smart enough. Like they're like, well, no, they're not going to get it. You have
You
to
gotta say it a few times.
make him
probably.
react real big to it.
Now I do in music and in writing, I do tend to err towards maximalism, where I'm a little bit more like joke.
Yeah.
I want you to understand it, but I also try and make enough things that are subtle too, so if you'll rewatch it or whatever.
Well,
or just pack such a density of jokes.
Yeah. So what we do is different though. That's purely to keep attention. Like
That's true.
To do those snappy edits, those quick edits and stuff like that. That's like YouTube basically started that. Like it's just now moving into popular culture, into
Maybe.
into the editing style of things. Like the first person that really kind of I thought used those quick cuts effectively was like fucking Edgar Wright. He knows how to use quick cuts. He knows how to use that shit. So like that stuff's hard to do and make it viable. But like movies like that are like why comedy movies have just like shat the bed. Like you have these buddy comedy movies used to be the fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
My dude, like Turner and Hooch, that's a dog. And it was like, because fucking
Still a buddy comedy.
Fist Fight sucked. Like, I've seen that movie. It fucking sucks. Like, and so I just went and saw Cocaine Bear. Like,
I couldn't do it.
it's
In the trailer, they were like over and over saying it's a bear on cocaine. And
they
you're
say
like,
it so
I
many
know.
fucking times. They say cocaine
Well-
so many times. It wants the cocaine. It's like, I can tell by your CGI bear that it is now addicted to cocaine. Like, I can tell.
Who
Like,
directed
Make
it?
something else funny.
It was Elizabeth Banks.
That's who I thought
How many
directed it.
times am I supposed to hear cocaine before I just leave and go get cocaine?
Yeah, and it's just like you're making me want
You said it
cocaine.
so much.
But no, it's like, and that was like, it wasn't. Some of the jokes were funny, but it has that same thing you're talking about, and I don't know what it is like because there's so many good comedians now, but I don't think that they're writing anything anymore because you used to have people like that were stand-up comedians. They would also kind of moonlight as script writers, and then you actually had funny people that would forego a stand-up career to go into movies. But now it just seems like it seems
Yeah, we
like
don't
they're
have an Adam Sandler.
scraping the bottom of the barrel. It seems like it's strange.
I remember the thing from the board now that they were talking about. It was the he's right in front of me joke, right? So it's someone, something
Standing
happened.
right
behind
Oh,
me.
shit. He's standing right behind me.
Oh, he's right in front of me.
He's right in front of me is the first level.
That
That's
actually would be funny.
well, see, that's the first level of detaching from the original joke, right? And then the third level, he's I'm behind myself, or like it would go to like levels of like
Oh my
I'm
god!
standing right behind
is it
him,
me
aren't I?
standing right in front of myself right now? There would be like
I'm right behind you,
layers
aren't
to
I?
it that you can make it work from it. Give me a good one. Give me a good one off the top of
What
your
about
head.
that? What if
I don't like that.
What if you recorded yourself saying something offensive and then said, "I'm right behind me, aren't I?" And then
Yes.
somebody's watching it on a laptop, and you walk in.
Oh, see?
Whoa!
That's a mind blown kind of thing.
We were
right
gonna
there.
do
That's
something
good.
like that in the pilot. So like our monster of the week for that first one is the Wook of the Wood. So we're gonna have like Houston all made up in like dreadlock wig, beard, like fucking hippie clothes, and like
excited?
covered in dirt.
Oh, it sounds great.
And like the way we were gonna introduce him was like, you know, he's going to possess Toby Evil Dead style and have Toby like being his harbinger, telling us that he's coming. And then he's gonna like appear.
is the
It'll be
first
a close up
thing
shot
we've written
of
like
me,
this.
and he'll be in my ear, and he'll be like "sup," and then it does a wide shot, and he's not there. Right, so he's just like in and out, and then it'll be Toby and I. I'll be like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?" Blah blah blah, and then I'll be like, "Oh, he's under me, isn't he?" And then I look down, and he's between my legs. And
But see, we started with that same prompt of
Yeah.
like he's
There you
supposed
go.
to be behind you, and you realize it, but it's got to be a couple steps outside of the joke if you're gonna reference a joke,
yeah,
right?
But then we thought it would be funnier if he just is just there with us. So it's like you have that wide shot of me being like, he's not fucking real. He was made up by people, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll just do a wide again, and he'll be like, I know, right? And he's just standing there with us. So like we just felt like that was funnier. So we left that in.
It's hard. I don't know. I don't fucking know what's funny.
Yeah, we don't know. We're just going to see what happens when we put it on film. What is your favorite bad movie?
Sorry, people ask me things like this a lot. I watch so many.
Well, then don't
movies.
answer it. Tell me to ask you another question. Say fuck
Wait,
you.
No.
Did he say-
It's great.
Satan's little helper for me.
My favorite
Didn't he
bad
say-
movie. Well, okay, so it's going to depend on how you define it. Tropic Thunder,
Just a
in
good
a lot
movie.
of ways, hasn't aged how you might hope.
No,
Oh,
it's
dude,
a
I still
fine
I think
movie,
that
though.
movie's fucking
But man,
genius.
it's funny.
Dude, well, I mean, like the whole thing, people that talk about the blackface in it haven't watched the movie.
I'm more upset about Dr. Doolittle.
You're more upset.
Original Doctor.
No,
No,
the
the
Robert
Robert
Downey.
Downey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do after Iron Man? Dr. Doolittle it up.
Do a little.
I can do
something of this.
anything.
That's
Oh
a
man.
good question.
Oh,
My
he was in a
favorite
Scanner
bad
Darkly
movie.
too.
Yeah. Okay.
A Scanner Darkly, another Richard Linklater movie. Have you seen that one? Scanner Darkly.
I haven't. So
Don't worry
there's a
about
big
that.
hole in
Remember,
my.
just remember Waking Life. Just
I wrote
watch
it
that
down. I
for
wrote
me.
it on
Okay, fuck. Sorry.
I shit
All right.
you not.
My wife got home.
Mm-hmm.
I got till 11:15 my time. What do you want to do with this time? These last few precious moments that we have. Anything specific?
I just wanna
We
let
just
you
keep
know we
going,
love you.
and then I'll just disappear.
Yeah, you do disappear forever. After this, we
love you.
We love you. We're happy you're here. We're like,
Hey, it's been fun. I've been having a blast.
well, we would love at some point if you're interested, we would love to have you back on and have something a little bit more planned, do a little something different. Now that we've kind of like broken the ice, we can like play a game or something,
Sure.
and like actually put some effort and time into it. But that would be fun.
Yeah, I tried abruptly to get to the game, and we didn't fully get where we needed because I wanted to have some fun, but that's not what we had fun tonight with. We had fun with actual, like, some philosophy. and
Honestly,
shit.
it was one of my favorite
Yeah,
discussions
sorry,
I've had in. Yeah.
that was
that doesn't
amazing.
usually come up in podcasts. It just sort of came. It just sort of went that way.
Well, my
I
my whole
love it.
thing was like I didn't
needed
want
someone
to
talk to.
because I know you've been doing the podcast rounds, and I wanted you to have a different experience. I wanted you to like to have something different and not just talk about the same stuff you've been talking about because we like to be funny and also talk about everything because it's like
We do get there a lot.
because we don't like subscribe to like any one thing. We love to talk about all of it because it's interesting to us because like the human condition and like what people think about is like that's like everything. That's what makes the world, right? That's what kind of because it's all of our experiences that make everything kind of tangible for everybody.
Fuck yeah. But besides that, we're gonna check out Don Broco.
Yeah.
And also, everyone fucking listening, check out this motherfucker. He's the doctor. We've
Dr.
got
Jordan Breeding, his stuff is his
everything
Twitter and his
downstairs.
YouTube are in our description. So if you're watching this in the future or listening to this in the future on all the podcast platforms, check it out. Go hit him up. Jordan,
He's your
I mean,
boy.
it's been great. We didn't jump you in too hard. We usually, like, when it's somebody's first time on, we usually ask them the weirdest place they ever jerked off. But I figured like talking about religion was a little bit, kind of same but different.
I mean,
so,
you kind of already,
spiritually.
yeah.
you've kind of already been asked. Though,
Yeah.
unless you don't.
No, we're
It's
not
always
gonna
a
do
car.
it.
It's always a car.
No,
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. We're not gonna do that.
We'll save something for the next one.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many people say in a car though.
It was good to meet you, though, for real.
It was great to meet you, man.
And shit, dude, I don't know. I love debating with you. I love talking about this stuff. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, good. I hope it doesn't come across as like overly aggressive. This is
Hell
just
no.
sort of where I've landed after.
That's what I needed.
respect
It's
it.
honestly what I need someone
And if
to
I come
debate
back in
with.
10 years, it'll probably be a little different. So
yeah, well, I
Okay.
mean, we'll check in probably, hopefully before that.
You might
We'll
have
just-
gray hair by then. Who knows?
we'll see.
You do have a great head of hair, though, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Shout out your hairs. Shout out you, man. We love you.
You have much hair on your head. You have much hair on your face. Everybody's got lots of hair on this podcast.
Shout out.
Yeah,
hair.
we should look at all these hairy boys. And
Probably not ever gonna go bald. Most of us.
and on that note, Jordan, we're gonna let you go, man. This was great. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No
have
problem,
a great
bro.
rest of your night. You're
Well,
only
I
an
think
hour
we're-
behind me. Yeah.
Is it 11 there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
So and come visit us sometime. After you watch Waking Life, maybe hit us
He's
up.
probably gonna offer you mushrooms. It sounds like.
Yes. But no,
but
well, if you
we
ever
love
come
you.
this way, we got you. We'll hang out and we'll do some stuff.
I would love to go to the pub.
Yeah, we'll go to the pub. We'll talk about
I
theology.
like pubs.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
There's a ton
Alright.
here. So yeah.
Great.
We'll see you, bro. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
Bye. That was Jordan Breeding.
Awesome, dude. I highly enjoyed that. Also, successful Zoom call.
Yeah.
That was also just a little win on the side, I suppose.
Oh, a successful Zoom call. You're gonna
it
give
just-
that a 5-star
it
rating
worked.
when it comes up and says, "How was your call?"
It didn't fuck up. That was great for us.
And guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna do our second podcast. We should do that extra one.
Let's
What's
jump
that?
to it. Then.
Oh, yeah,
Let's jump
so,
to too many.
We're gonna go ahead and go into too many, and we're gonna watch some weird stuff. Give us about an hour, maybe.
Come into the
so-
Discord.
Come into the
If
Discord.
you haven't fucking joined, join the Patreon. Get into the Discord for $2 and I don't know. Let's let loose. Let's watch some fucking
Oh, I never read the chat.
some.
You never read the
nasty
chat?
No,
shit.
I'm just
Let's get into
they
it.
were pretty tame.
He's an Anglophile. I didn't know who said that. He's in the chat.
Yeah, he was there the whole time.
Yeah. It
What a
was
good
fucking
guest.
awesome. That was great.
Oh yeah, no, that was
He's
really
a good sport. He's a good sport. He
if
didn't know what this was.
If you were
Yeah.
close enough, Toby, I would have been drawing circles on your forearm.
yeah.
Are you flirting?
Yeah, no, it was just a heady swirl, and I would have been
That's what
tracing
people-
a
that's
circle
what
on your
dude-
forearm.
That's what you think a dude looking at another. That's what you think dude flirting is? Is drawing circles on a forearm?
That, in my experience, my limited experience,
I mean, how many times have you got circles on your
No,
forearm?
no,
Is that
not
why
a
you
bunch.
not
The
always
one,
have-
just the once.
Why are
I
you
was trying to
always
have a
scrubbing
nice-
circles off your forearm.
I know. I thought we were having a nice, heady conversation, and you
And
thought
then
we
this
were
shit
flirting.
happens. All right, let's switch over.
Did
All
you
right.
have your?
Go on the fucking Discord. Let's get into this dangerous, sketchy, no YouTube-y like.
You look like you're in the band Weezer.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in like an hour over on the Discord. We love you. Bye. Let's get some sketchy homeless guests. Yeah, bro. Let's go
Let's
down to
get
the
'em.
gas station.
Taco Bell Jesus.
You
Yep.
want to pick up a homie? What homie means a lot of different things.
All right. This was fun. Love y'all.
Come over.
Come over. Come on over. Come on over, baby.
Come on over, Davey.